What's going on? If you're just joining us, welcome to part 2 of the deposition of Michelle Brennan, or as I like to call her, Michelle Brennan. We're looking at an unethical quote unquote religious group here. And so I figured that why wait? Let's just dive back in. Okay. Let's just do it. Let me turn this stupid music off. All right. Here we go.
Cross. 10/3/2014.
We know if the audio's okay or not.
So Exhibit 10, it's a Joshua Media Ministries detailed statement of accounts, January 1st, 2014 to December 31st, 2014 for Deborah A. Frazier, and October 3rd, 2014, Rosh Hashanah offering $11,500.
All right, with that.
So Debbie Frazier.
Rosh Hashanah offering.
Rosh Hashanah is a.
So Debbie Frazier is donating all this money nonstop, constantly, while there's a court order. While there was a court order for her not to donate, and she does it anyway. Oops. $11,000 she donated for Rosh Hashanah.
A high holy
Rosh
days,
Hashanah
in the biblical calendar. So it is a period of time of reflection and things like that during that time. So it's a service that's ongoing for a period of time.
And would that be held in Taylor?
This one in 2014 was held in Taylor.
Okay. And this indicates she made an offering of $11,500.
Correct.
And do you know if this was cash or check?
I do not.
Would Ashley know that?
I do not know if she would or not. She doesn't travel.
So the accounting of that would have been done in Taylor?
No, it's an offering that this particular one, Rosh Hashanah, was done in Taylor. So whoever made the deposit would have taken the deposit as a whole and deposited it. I don't know if it was check or cash, but I can ask Ashley.
Okay.
Thanks, Michelle.
Oh, come on.
So based on this document that you provided,
Right away with the coffin.
you can verify that Mrs. Frazier made a donation in October of 2014 for $11,500.
That Deborah Frazier did make a offering December 3rd, 2014.
They claim they didn't know.
$11,500.
Okay. Mrs. Frazier testified at a hearing the last couple months that she actually made a donation of $15,000 in October of 2014. You only have $11,500. which amount is accurate?
I'm going to object to the question to the extent that it calls for testimony, or it is based on testimony taken in violation of my client's Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights under the Constitution. But you can answer.
I'm going to also object on grounds of foundation form.
Okay.
And I don't know, even instead of foundation, if she would know one way or the other. Why?
Man, we're
Yeah,
getting
that's the
less and
question.
less in numbers every day.
I don't know.
It's just us few chickens, folks.
Is it, in your opinion, possible that that line item is a mistake on the detailed statement of offerings?
Objection form, foundation, qualification, also asking for her to speculate or guess. And what's possible is also irrelevant, immaterial. Go ahead and answer the question if you
Got
can.
any other words you want to throw out there? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Who would know that?
Nobody would know. I don't think.
Ashley may be able to look at the reconciliation of deposits and
Well, when we go through and do these detailed statements, what we do is go off of what the offering of what we have listed. So it's safe to say that whatever is listed here is accurate.
okay. Well, we know that she made at least 11,500 by this document and by her testimony.
Correct.
So the question is there another 3,500 that is somehow unaccounted for? Now, Mrs. Fraser testified that she gave a donation of 10,000 for tithing. Are you aware of that process with her?
Colleen, would it be okay if I just continue the objection?
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't know. I know she gave a $10,000 cash according to what you had me look at earlier, or
No.
check or whatever that
Okay,
was.
no, that's a separate,
Oh, okay.
it's that is unrelated to this line of questioning.
Okay.
She testified that the October donation of $10,000 was for a tithing issue.
It's possible. I don't know.
Is Rosh Hashanah a time when people tithe?
Absolutely.
However, she had also made, according to the same exhibit 10, donations in February and March that total $13,750. Is it your understanding that any of those were tithes?
I have no idea. It's possible.
Would you generally mark if something was a tithe as opposed to a general donation?
Without it being absolutely indicated, no.
Okay. She also indicated that in addition to the 10,000 tithe, that she made a $5,000 donation to the benevolent fund.
Thanks, Michelle.
I have no understanding of what benevolent fund or
You've
what.
never heard that term used in
I've
the
heard of
context
benevolence, but I have not. I couldn't tell you.
You don't know of a specific fund designated at JMMI for donations for benevolent fund?
No,
Okay. So that just doesn't exist at JMMI?
I'm not saying that.
As far as you know?
Well, it's to my knowledge, that's a play on words. It could be her benevolence, could mean gifting or something of some
But there
sort.
isn't a separate designated benevolent fund.
To my knowledge, no.
If that existed, is that something you would know about? In
Yes.
your role as executive administrator? What would you-
It's not to say I shouldn't or I should know or shouldn't know. I don't know.
I mean, she's just a flat out liar. And then she just, I don't lie. Right.
These or exhibit number 10, you note that on December 10th, 2014, that you can read across the line for me.
It says Exhibit 10, December 10th, 2014 Crusade donation for $1,000.
And does that indicate to you that Deborah Fraser made a $1,000 donation on December 10th, 2014?
That is correct.
And do you have any idea if it was cash, check?
I do not.
Is that something you can ask Ashley?
I can ask her.
Do you know if Mrs. Frazier has made any donations since December 10th, 2014?
I do not.
Is that something you can ask Ashley?
I can.
Since when?
December 10th, 2014. When the last one is noted on Exhibit 10.
Well, if anything was made anytime after December 10th through December 31st would have been listed on this statement if Ashley has knowledge of.
Okay.
This is a detailed statement.
So it would, in your opinion, then be in 2015? That wouldn't be on the statement if there was.
If there was anything given from January of this year to current, I do not have knowledge of.
Okay, is that something that Ashley would know?
If something was given, she would know.
In 2015, can we ask her that?
This is actually 2015.
I know.
Okay.
I said after December 31st, 14, because she did it on January 1.
Looking still at exhibit number 10, in a separate line down here, it says Crusade donation, $12,000 Dream School. What's Dream School?
Dream School is a dream conference or classes where people learn the biblical principles of dreaming.
Okay, you know what? I think these are two different columns. Would that be right? Crusade donation, 12,000, and then a separate number, Dream School, 1,000.
Correct.
Okay, so is that over and above the 1,000 listed on December 10th?
Looks like it is a summary of it.
Okay. So the Dream School is what now? Where people,
Dream School is where
They go to
people come
dream.
to learn about the biblical principles of dreaming.
okay. And this indicates that,
Which is another
tell me if
scam.
I'm accurate here, that the 12,000 that was made for the Crusade donation was mailed in. Is that right?
It's a summary, yes, of what was detailed up above.
We also have our own clown college and horseshoeing school. We're looking to turn it into a 3-for-1 with a coupon. You get 50% off admission.
And it says mailed in donation 12,000.
So you don't always notate whether it was mailed in or through the offering bucket?
Oh no, ma'am. We don't keep track of anything. Matter of fact, we've made all this stuff up probably and created these just to suffice you so you'll shut up.
We do, if it was done as an offering at the offering bucket.
Would the Rosh Hashanah offering mean that it happened at a
Do you think Michelle Brennan went to Rosh Hashanah?
what do you want to call it? A meeting, crusade, whatever.
The conference, yes.
Did you know horseshoeing school is a real thing? Like they have schools that you go to learn how to horseshoe. Like it's an actual school. I don't know if it's accredited or anything, but like you can go to a horseshoeing school and they will give you a certificate saying that you are a licensed horseshoer. I knew a guy that did it. And when he told me that he went to horseshoeing school, I laughed because I thought he was joking and he was dead serious. Like he was like, dude, I'm not saying it's not a skill. I didn't know it was a school. I just didn't know it was a school. You can make a lot of money shoeing horses, no doubt. And it's extremely hard work. I didn't know that they had their own schools.
right then and there. Is that what that would mean?
It's possible. And the reason I say it's possible is people can make PayPal donations or credit card donations at that same time
How convenient.
because the services are live streamed.
Okay, okay, so they may do it during the service or whatever. I don't know what your term is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're called. I didn't know that there was a school. I just thought it was something that was like passed down from generation to generation type thing. I didn't know that they had instructors that do that.
But
That's
would
it.
this was done commensurate with Rosh Hashanah and that service that you had.
That is correct.
Okay. You, and I mean you in general, not you specifically necessarily, but through discovery there was.
What do you mean, you people?
Giving statement for Mrs. Frazier for 2013 that shows it was $961,000. But then Mrs. Frazier produced a giving statement showing $1,006,650. So there's a $45,000 plus discrepancy
Of course,
on
there
two
is.
different statements that were produced. How do you account for that?
Objection, form foundation.
We don't.
Okay,
You have to show her, well, you have to show her what you're talking about, because I don't know, she'd have to see what the two statements are.
Yes.
I am. That's Mark. Go ahead.
It's a plastic straw for sure.
What number are we on?
Yeah, $1 million in there. They have huge discrepancies, and they're just playing dumb.
So. Whoops. I'm going to show you exhibit number 12 and ask you to identify.
I hate that cough. Drives me nuts.
X, Michelle.
Okay, exhibit number 12, Joshua Media Ministries detailed statement, January 1st, 2013 to December 31st, 2013 for Deborah A. Frazier.
And what's the total amount?
$961,000.
And that's for what time period?
January 1st, 2013 to December 31st, 2013.
Okay, and I'm going to show you exhibit number 13. Can you identify that, please?
This is exhibit number 13. Joshua Media Ministries detailed statement, January 1st, 2013 to December 31st, 2000.
The preacher says Michelle will know. Michelle says Ashley will know. And no doubt Ashley will say the preacher will know. Don't forget about, what was that other lady's name? La Marcia.
2013.
Poor La
And what's
Marcia.
the total amount on that?
1,650,000.
666.
1,006,650.
666.
650. Okay.
Lucky.
Um,
Oh God, and we have
so
66 in the
these
chat.
detailed statements are purportedly for the same time period,
Correct.
Getting
but they
nervous
don't
here.
show the same amounts.
Correct.
Okay. Do you know why that is?
Because you
Can you see
suck.
that?
Nobody likes you,
I'm looking
Michelle.
at exhibit number 12.
And let's not forget that these people, as she comes off a bit more polished than, say, a David Taylor, she is every bit as scummy and evil as he is. He's just much more of a cartoon character. She seems to have a bit more self-awareness than he does. And she's not completely happy with making an ass out of herself constantly, and he is, and she's not very rude, and she's kind of boring, but like what she's doing here is she is insulating this quote unquote man of God and allowing him to operate a cult like atmosphere while scam people. Like, they have apartments and storage stuff with like things that people have just donated that they liquidate. It's crazy.
I'm not sure.
No, I want you to mark it. I'm going to show you what's marked as deposition exhibit number 14. I'm going to ask you to identify that.
Okay. Exhibit number 14. This is our list of donors.
Okay, and can you read? Is there
While
a
we're
list
at
of
it,
Fraser?
hold on.
Fraser, Deborah A.
And how much does it say she gave?
$1,101,120.
And what's the year that is notated on the top of that?
I'm not sure who notated this, so I couldn't say. It looks
Wasn't
like it's
a
handwritten 2013.
Notarizer.
Okay.
People are stupid. And now a message from Mr. Taylor.
I love this country. I said, I love this country. I don't want to see war come here. I told God, I can't see it again. I can't see these people die again. I saw it before. On 9/11, I saw it. I said, we have to do something. I said, give me the winning blow. That's when he said, the only hope is me. In a new and living way, a greater manifestation. You can say Jesus is the answer, but if you ain't manifesting him in a new and living way in which a generation needs, No use. Face to face is God's radical way to turn America back to God.
It looks like a Roman soldier.
Whole cities in America are about to start seeing Jesus. That's what this movement is about. If I'm not mistaken, I heard the Lord say we have about 8 to 10 years.
You're
For the
mistaken.
next 8 to 10 years, I will start packing arenas and stadiums with the healing ministry, but with this message of face to face to turn our country back to Him.
Look at all the walkers and stuff behind him. Yeah.
How many want to see your whole states visited by the Lord? Come on, I said, how many want to see your whole states visited by the Lord?
Whatever you do, do not call that number on the screen, please.
I'm asking you to join with Jesus and I. Help us save our country. I beg of you, help me. Let's not let this happen. Help me spread face to face to every place in the world, starting with America. 370 million people. If we can give them a face-to-face meeting with Jesus, I believe they'll make the right decision. They don't want to hear our preaching anymore. They don't even want to see no signs and wonders that much. They need their own experience with the Lord. They need a real experience with Jesus.
I mean, literally what this man is claiming is that he's Jesus's right-hand man. So there's the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, and David Taylor with his little tassels that he's wearing. Like, I don't know, man. He looks.
And that's the phenomena of this ministry now. Jesus is appearing to millions of people around the world through this.
He's always talking about how he sweats so much, but like when you wear blankets for clothing and you yell on stage constantly, like you're gonna sweat.
Face-to-face movement of JMMI.
JMMI, JMMI, JMMI.
How many want to help us save America?
I'll pass.
How many love this country?
I'd love it more if you weren't, if you didn't live here, but I love it for sure.
One of the ways I know God don't want this country to be destroyed, because He came to me in a dream when I was preaching unbalancedly about this message, and I was being hard on America, and I went to sleep one night, and the voice was there again. It was Jesus, and all He said is, David, what about the good things in America? That let me know Jesus see good things in this country too.
Yeah, Jesus see good things in this country.
We're gonna turn it around. I said we're gonna turn it around.
Around.
How many are part of the face-to-face
Jesus see good things in this country. We're gonna turn it around.
nation? This is not David Taylor's ministry. It is God's ministry on earth.
Okay. And let's just get back to Michelle.
So for 2013, we have 3 different numbers of donations for Deborah Frazier.
Well, I'm going to object because she's not acknowledging the Exhibit 13. Anything related to...
I say we speed it up just a little.
JMI are created by them.
Do you see that Exhibit 14 has the notation JMMI at the bottom?
It does. However, the date, I
You
cannot,
don't know if that's...
who wrote that date, I cannot
Okay.
say.
Can you... Who would have generated this document?
This document would have been
Me.
generated by Ashley.
And do you know what that number refers to at the bottom right side?
It could, I have no idea, honestly.
Okay, so is this something you can ask Ashley as to whether this is a 2013 document?
Yes.
Okay,
Do you need the amount? You need the amount. The amount. That's what I have to ask. Yeah.
Give me out. Give me out.
120.
all right, so we have at least 2 documents, potentially 3, that show
All right, back to David. She bores me.
face to face is the Lord.
He doesn't bore me, but he annoys me, but at least he's like got a personality.
Lord coming himself. It's not a gift. It's not an anointing. It's not an office. It is the Lord. Who ain't gonna listen if Jesus come to them? The first thing you need to understand is that you got to gird up.
Look at that. What is that? What is he wearing? Oh, it looks like a quilt on the back of a couch, and it doesn't even fit. Oh my gosh. It gets worse by the day. This guy is the worst dressed human of all time. Of all time. Look at that. That's like a Shaw.
Up your mind with truth.
It is quilted. It's like, and then you see like right here where, cause he's got a, he's got a beef arm. Oh my God, look at that thing. Unbelievable.
Yolanda, truth is not facts. It's a person.
Truth is not facts. It's a person.
So the point is, if you start to watch this, rely on facts to give you truth and not Jesus, you're in sin. I'm going to say it again. If you surf the internet to get information about somebody, but you don't go to Jesus.
Oh my God. Look at that outfit.
Jesus about somebody, you are in sin.
He looks like the manager of a valet company.
Do you really have truth or do you have facts?
It's the same thing.
And I've watched people, they may not leave physically, but they've left mentally.
Right. Well, we're looking at one right now, you big dummy.
Already the stuff is affecting them. Their spirit, their attitude have already changed. Why? Because of negative news. I can hear my enemies now. See, he's a manipulator. He know how to use the word to deceive those people. No, idiot, I know the word. Backwards and forwards. I'm a master at the word of God.
You're a master at the word of God. But all right.
Consistent numbers for Deborah Frazier's 2013 donations. True?
And we have two documents, yes, that appears that there's discrepancy.
And potentially this third one you're going to verify.
Verify that.
Okay. Do you operate separate sets of books for donations?
Yes.
I know that there was a time where we would, they were putting donations in spreadsheet in Taylor, but that was sent down to Ashley.
That's the thing that I don't understand. So in his deposition, he's saying that Michelle is the one that handles everything. But now Michelle has literally claimed almost no responsibility whatsoever for these finances that just don't add up. These huge discrepancies of thousands of dollars. And obviously that money is going somewhere, but not into the ministry, quote unquote. They basically robbed this lady of $1.2 million.
Input into, she would input it into the system on her spreadsheet and consolidate it. So
there were a set of books in Taylor and a set of books.
Well, honestly though, if he ever gets rid of that jacket, we could probably hoist it up on a boat and use it as a sail.
Books in St. Louis?
not books, there were spreadsheets.
Well, books referring to financial records. It's just a term of art, I suppose.
There was, and everything has since been turned over to Ashley down into St. Louis.
And when did that happen?
We did that last year in January.
I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus Christ. Would Ashley be able to reconcile these numbers by reviewing the books?
Define reconcile by reviewing the books. What do you mean?
Well, which number is accurate?
So you were asking me to ask her to verify
I'm
which
asking
number is asking
if Ashley would be the person that would be able to reconcile
these two documents. Yes.
Right.
Number 13 and number 12. Yes.
and potentially clarifying 14 and reconciling it.
Exactly.
Okay, so will you ask her that?
Yes, I will.
And if you became aware that there were errors in these what's listed as detailed statements, if you became aware of that in your capacity in employment with JMMI, is that something that you would take the responsibility of pursuing to see what the problem was?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that comes within your job description to
Correct.
be able to know why these are the way they
Let her
are.
finish the question.
She didn't interrupt. I don't think she did. So that would be within your job description to find out what the problem was, why we have different numbers.
Correct. This is very, I definitely want to find out what happened here.
Okay. The list of donors for 2013 has a Jeannie Kim. Can you see that name?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
And who is that?
She's a pastor
A pastor where?
in Seoul, Korea.
And what's the name of the church that she pastors?
I'm not sure.
Does she come to the States?
Rarely.
Did these contributions of 212,100, is that correct?
Yes.
Were they designated for any specific purpose?
Not that I know of.
And is it accurate that she no longer contributes to JMMI?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you know why she doesn't anymore?
I'm saying I don't know that.
Because she's tired of giving her
There's
money.
also a Joy
to a
Oprah
cult.
listed on that statement, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
And what's her amount?
186,000.
And who is Joy?
A donor.
Do you know her personally?
I do not.
Do you know where she resides?
I do not.
Do you know if she continues to give to JMMI?
I'm not. I don't know.
So you have no idea who that is?
I don't.
Okay. It also lists that David Taylor donated 42,000 to JMMI in 2013. His W-2s for 2013 only indicate a $27,000 salary. Do you have any idea how he could donate more than he actually earns per year? Because you manage his personal finances, right?
First of all, exhibit number 14, I'm not verifying 2013.
I
This is
understand that.
handwriting. So I can't say what if this was for 2013.
I understand. I'm predicating this on the belief that it is, and if it turns out that's inaccurate, then these questions will not apply. But assuming that this is 2013 in the list of donors, that does indicate that David Taylor donated $42,000. Yes?
It does.
And you do his personal finances also, correct?
I do.
How would he have given $42,000 to JMMI?
By cutting his salary. So it sounds like he went from taking a $70,000 a year job to he cut it to like 27, and to him that's donating money.
In what manner would that have been done? Would you have done it for him?
Pastor Taylor, I know, has been very frugal and integral with money, and
He has a prior bankruptcy, doesn't
and
he?
has saved.
Yes, he has filed bankruptcy.
I don't see that that's relevant.
Oh, it's very relevant.
I mean, I'm not going to discuss that.
No,
I
I'm
don't
just
have that was
saying,
before my time.
but when you say he's very frugal and integral with
is.
money, he does have a bankruptcy.
What does that say?
It means that he sucks with money, most likely.
Really?
Well, the question is, she wants to know how he contributed more than that.
And I'm saying I don't know.
But you manage his personal
I
money.
do.
So would you have been the person that facilitated this donation?
Yes.
Okay, so by what mechanism would that have been done?
Pastor Taylor has savings. I mean, he has money that he has put away and saved.
And when you manage his money, do you decide how much he gives?
On occasion, yes.
And how does that process work?
Well, his tithes and anything that is given to him that is gifted from another church or whatever is gifted directly to him, he immediately turns that over to
Do
James.
you guys want to hear a different side of Michelle? I know I do. She's not a very nice person. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Let's see. And shout out to Colt Watch. Check this out. She is not nice. So there was somebody was missing that was a part of this church. And they thought that she was hiding out with some of the members, but they weren't sure what had happened to her. And I believe this is like one of her family members was looking for her. And she was saying that the JMMI cult is hiding her and all that different stuff. But, you know, let's show you the real mask off, Michelle. We're going to axe Michelle. So it says Tuesday, she left her daughter and phone behind, but took her car, and that there was a missing person report. And then it tells you who to contact. She was found, but it's believed that she was with members of the quote unquote ministry.
Keep our name out your mouth, because nobody has done anything to Tiffany here.
So you do
You
know
understand?
Tiffany though, but you do know
Do you
Tiffany.
understand what I'm
But
saying?
you do
Don't
know
ask-
Tiffany
don't you
though,
ask
right?
questions of me.
You know
Don't you ask
Tiffany?
questions of me. Don't you ask questions of me. Let me ask questions of you.
Go ahead.
You're the one posting dumb stuff on the internet like an idiot.
So what was
Without
false?
getting any wisdom, you dumb tail.
What was false?
You're a freaking idiot.
What was
You
false?
Are so stupid.
What was false?
You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing.
What was false?
You are it's not false, but you're right. You're right.
What did I write? What was false about the church? Tell me about the church. I want to know. I want to know. If I'm wrong, I want to know.
Why don't you come?
Educate me.
Come and talk to me face to face.
I would love to
How about
talk to you
that?
face to face.
I would
Where's
love
what's
for
an
you to talk
address?
to me face to face.
Where can we
I would
meet?
love for you to come
Where
to me
can
face
we
to
meet?
face. I would love for
Where?
you to come face to face.
Where
I
can
would
we
love
meet,
for it.
Michelle? Michelle, I really want to know. Where can we meet? I
You
want to.
don't wanna
I
meet
do.
me. You don't want to meet me ever. Don't even freaking sit there and play games. First of all, you are a complete moron, a complete idiot to post that stuff. Seriously, absolutely retarded.
So you want to meet?
You do know you're going to be judged, right?
Okay, so you want to meet?
Do you know God is going to judge you? Yes or no? Do you know that every freaking word that you spoke against the man of God, you are going to be
Do you know?
judged for that? You do know that?
Do you know?
Do you know? You're going to be judged.
I might not. I might not though. I want to know.
God is going to judge you. You are going to be judged by God himself. You are going to stand before the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and he is going to say, depart from me, I knew you not. Because you spoke against this proven, chosen man of God. They have stupid things you don't even know. That's what's so dumb. It is absolutely stupid. You're just sitting there and you're passing all these accusations without getting any freaking truth. And
Okay, well, tell me the truth.
On your things, you're cussing like a sailor. No,
That's not me. You're thinking of the wrong person. I'm not who you are talking to.
I absolutely know who you are because I've seen your posts. I've seen what.
What's my name?
I've seen your posts.
My name is Amanda Purcell. I've been looking for Tiffany. I'm not the person who you are talking to online, and that's what I'm trying to get you to understand.
Then you're the one that's sending the stuff to. She's sending the stuff. You posted that stuff online.
So tell me what I'm wrong about. So you don't know where Tiffany is,
Your name is Ashley Rose Humphrey.
No, mine is Amanda Purcell. You can look me up.
Listen, Amanda Purcell.
Look it up.
Or Tiff or Ashley Rose Humphreys, whatever you say. No, we do not know where Tiffany is. We have been standing in prayer, praying for her safe return. This is what makes me so angry.
That's very nice of you guys.
Where's
Praying for
David?
safe return for every
Where's
day.
Mr. Taylor? Where's Mr. Taylor?
Don't call him David,
That's his name.
and I don't owe you any explanation.
Don't call him David.
No, I'm not asking for an
If you have
explanation.
any- if you
But
have any, listen,
where is
take
he
it to the
worshiping
police.
though?
Take it to the police. I don't owe you anything. I owe you nothing. We spoke to Tiffany's dad. We don't owe you anything.
When did you speak with him? What's his name?
We spoke to Tiffany's dad. We did not. We don't owe you anything. Matt spoke to Tiffany's dad. We owe you no explanation.
Matt spoke to Tiffany's dad.
So let me tell you something. Whoever you are, Ashley Rose Humphreys, whatever your name is, I don't care. Keep us out of it. Keep our name out your mouth.
Well, if you
don't
care
have
about
to-
her,
you
help
don't
us
have
find
to
her,
say
and we
it.
will. If you
Listen,
help us find her, we will
listen,
keep we will stop, but you
listen,
need to
if
help
she
us
knew-
find her.
If she knew how you were speaking to us, she would be horrified.
Well, you know what? Let's find her
No,
so
you have done
find her so she can tell me about it. Let's find her so she can tell me how I was wrong.
Why don't you find her? How are we supposed to find her? Are you stupid?
Well, there's more of you than there are of me, and the power of God and prayer should
really?
help you.
Really? Look how you're talking. You're accusing. You're posting things of accusation. You're coming by the church, and then you're saying things and accusing. Like, do you know? Where is she? Where?
Yeah, like it's so off the wall to accuse these scammers of doing anything wrong.
Is she? Like, we're supposed to know.
Oh, so you're aware that I came by the church. So you do know my name is Amanda, and I'm the one that came by the church.
I do know your name is Ashley Rose Humphreys. You say it's Amanda, but I do know you.
No, I'm the woman that showed up at the church yesterday afternoon and spoke with Tony Pastinelli or whatever.
Regardless.
I'm the one that showed up yesterday.
That's what you said. That's what you say.
Ask
I don't
Tony.
know who you are.
Ask
Then how did
Tony.
you- then how did Ashley?
Ask
how did my
Tony.
text for Ashley get to you?
Ask Tony Pastinelli or whatever
Then
his
how did
name
my
is.
text to
See what he
Ashley get to
says.
you?
He's one of
Then
you
how did my
guys, right?
text
You'll
to
believe him.
Or inbox. How did my inbox get to you? Her to you? If you're not her.
Because she screenshotted it and posted it to Tiff. If you'd shut your mouth for a half a second, I would actually answer you.
You're not truly interested in finding Tiffany. Don't lie. All you are is looking for an accusation to point fingers at the wrong people.
Then help us find her.
I feel so sorry for you.
Michelle, help us find her. If you're that
You know
concerned,
what?
help us find her.
Why don't you find her and quit throwing accusations? We're gonna.
I'm not going to.
Pray for Tiffany.
I'm not going to stop. I'm going to tell you now, I'm not going to stop.
We don't know you, but we know Tiffany and we love her. We will continue to pray for her.
Well, you better look for her because I'm not going to stop coming by. You're going to see my face and everybody else's every
Who are
day.
you talking to? Make your threats. Who cares?
Make yours.
Are you seriously that stupid? I
Let
don't
me ask
care.
you, when was the
I
last
know
time
your
you saw
church will
God?
work for you.
When was the last time you
Never.
saw God?
I am not concerned or worried about a thing that you are saying. Get that through your head. The only thing I care about is Tiffany
Right.
in this conversation, but not you. So keep your accusations, your lies, all your other things to yourself because you have no interest in truly. What you are is you're just trying to look for things to complain and charge the church instead of looking in a different direction.
Where should I look? Tell me where I should look. If you know so much, tell me.
You're the one posting. You tell me. You post and say that you're looking for things in Florida.
Should I be looking in Florida? Or should I still be looking here?
You tell me.
Well, you're telling me my information's wrong.
You tell me.
So if I'm posting in Florida,
I'm looking at these posts, just an FYI for everyone. The Wind Out Police said that Tiffany's license plate number is this.
yep.
And then another one. This is Tiffany.
So now you're finding that I am telling you the truth, right? That I am Amanda.
Orlando Police and made a report with them today.
Yep.
So does that have anything to do with that?
So let me ask you one quick question. Do you
Okay.
feel like an asshole yet? Because I'm not the person who you. Yeah. Thank you.
That's good stuff.
Am I?
Does he keep account of that for tax purposes, the gifts?
Well, it's not considered according to our tax attorney. That's I'm not going to get too much into that because that's why, yeah, that's privileged communication.
Between who and who?
The stats turn.
I'm asking her knowledge.
It's JMMI's tax attorney,
All right, I'm asking you and your management of Mr. Taylor's finances.
right?
Do you produce that information to his accountant when his taxes are prepared?
You're asking if we produce how much he's earned? Yes.
How much has been
W-2.
given, as you said, by other people?
Yes, that's given to our tax attorney, actually.
And it's reported on his income tax?
Again, it's given to our tax attorney because, again, you're getting into semantics. A lot of that stuff does not need to be disclosed directly to the IRS. When it's gifted and immediately gifted over.
I don't think that's accurate, but. The JMMI list for 2013, assuming the year is accurate, says Seoul Korea gave $118,000.
I'm going to object. All these other contributors are utterly immaterial to the proceedings before this court have nothing to do.
what is the name of the church in Korea that donates money?
I mean, on here it said Church Soul Calvary Chapel.
That's the name of the church over there?
That was the name of a church over there.
And they specifically gave the 118,000?
No,
No. Tell me what.
I don't know. It says Seoul, Korea, 118. It doesn't necessarily say a church. This.
Right. And then there's another line that says Church Seoul. Does that mean it's in?
Seoul, Korea, it's Calvary Chapel.
So there's two different churches in Seoul, Korea that are donating money?
No, that's not
No?
what I'm saying. I'm saying there's one church that's listed that gave a donation. This other says just a Seoul, Korea. I don't know. There's no church associated with this amount.
With the 118?
Correct.
So you don't know where that comes from?
I do not.
Okay. So you don't know the pastor's name or that information?
No.
Okay. Mr. Taylor, when we asked him questions at his deposition,
Like I try not to react to that cough, but it's very
difficult
difficult for me.
Okay. And his 2012, that's 13. Okay, do you want to?
Yes, he filed for bankruptcy.
I'm going to ask you to identify.
Well, he takes in millions and millions through donations. And it's not even cash donations, it's credit card donations. And then he said that they take, if somebody wants to donate jewelry or items, they'll liquidate those items for cash, which is, I don't know if that's common practice. I would certainly hope not. The lawyer, I think David got her sick.
Exhibit number 15.
Exhibit number 15, 1040 U.S. individual tax returns for 2013.
Okay, and
For Pastor Taylor?
For David E. Taylor, yes. Mhm.
of okay, does the 2013 amended tax return list these four people as dependents?
I don't recall. I don't remember. I'll take a look at it.
You began working in.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, honestly, yeah, kind of. They are. I mean, I've seen these pictures of like apartments, like people have donated homes and all kinds of like stocks and bonds and all kinds of crazy stuff. And what they do is that they house them, or they have storage that they put these items in and then liquidate them when they need cash flow or something, like, basically that's what's going on. But anything that you want to donate that they can turn around and sell, they'll do it. And she's the facilitator of this. That I've never heard of a church doing. I mean, I've never heard of it. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen in other spots, but this is the first time I had ever heard of that. And the fact that they take jewelry to liquidate it, and it's just, crazy.
I'm looking at my notes if you want to help me out.
December 2012.
Oh, that's what I thought, 2012. So at that time, you were not handling Mr. Taylor's finances?
I was handling and assisting, but I wouldn't say solely. I know Ashley Ware at the time was also assisting.
And Ashley Ware is the person that does a lot of the bookkeeping?
Correct.
Okay. And what does Clifton Ware do?
Clifton Ware is more as a, he handles Pastor Taylor's Facebook accounts in terms of postings and things like that. And he does also, he's traveled with Pastor Taylor.
How old is Clifton Ware?
I have no
I mean,
idea.
just approximate.
I don't know.
22 or 52?
Gosh,
130.
I don't know. I know I'm sure he's in his 20s. I don't know. Could be in his 30s. I don't know.
And how old is Brooklyn?
She kind of is 6.
And how old is Christian?
Christian is 4.
And do you know how old Ashley is?
I don't.
Okay. And in what manner does Mr. Taylor provide for these 4 people?
Well, they were living with him in his apartment.
He described it as a really small
It
apartment.
is a very small apartment.
Are Ashley and Clifton, do they receive income from JMMI?
They do not.
Who is on the board of JMMI?
Is currently Pastor Taylor.
This is the question that David couldn't answer.
La Marcia McDonald,
La Marcia.
and myself, and we have 2 vacancies.
Would it surprise you that? Let's go off the record for a second.
You're going off the record.
Hey.
It's 12:29 p.m.
We're still,
We are back on the record. It is 2:03 p.m.
You're still under oath and all that, so you understand that.
Okay.
You previously indicated who was on the board, and
Good
there were a couple
Lord.
vacancies.
I don't know.
What's the process by which vacancies are filled?
Well, technically, we are only responsible to have 3 as a minimum. We have just recently adopted to go ahead and open up 2 vacancies to have 2 more.
All right, so you never had 5. Nobody was let go.
I wouldn't say let go. No,
Was anybody terminated?
I wouldn't say terminated either.
What would you say?
I would say it was mutual.
Okay, who left?
Pastor Taylor's parents.
I thought they left and then came back on.
No, they're not back on. I don't know if they left before, but to my knowledge,
When did they leave then, do you think?
I don't remember.
2014 or?
Ask Michelle.
I don't remember.
Okay.
honestly.
Do they live in Missouri?
They do not.
Okay. And who else?
Miss Miriam Frentz, she passed away.
Miriam
Miriam
Fence?
Frentz.
And I noticed in a document you provided us that Miriam Frentz had signatory authority on checking account.
She did.
And when did she pass away?
Gosh, I believe it's been 2 years.
Yeah, I had to do it.
Or
I had to
That's
do
years,
it.
because she was writing checks in September.
December. Yeah,
She was writing checks in September of 2013. So
right. So I believe she passed away December.
Pastor Taylor's parents were on the board, and then they mutually left, meaning he kicked them off.
Or December 2013.
she would write checks to a place for Mr. Taylor's, or for some, who's T. Taylor on that document?
I'm not sure.
Is Mr. Taylor's former wife Tabitha Taylor?
It is Tabitha.
And what's charter place? Is that her rental?
I don't know what charter place is.
Does JMMI pay for his former spouse's apartment?
I'm going to check. It's irrelevant immaterial.
Okay.
Beyond the scope of the study for this morning.
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Mr. Taylor said,
Golly, lady. How does she not know if they pay for his ex-wife's housing?
in his deposition at page 177, which I can show you if you want, but that he said there was a firm that handled all his finances, but he didn't know the name of it. I assumed he was talking about an accounting firm or a CPA firm. Is there someone that assists you with the accounting for Mr. Taylor and JMMI?
We have a third party called Clay and Associates, which you guys also have record of.
CL.
AY and Associates, and they handle our 990s, and also they do other bookkeeping, like consolidating. Like
They do tax
reconciliation.
returns?
They do not.
Who does tax returns?
Well, this year it's Jackson Hewitt.
For 2014?
They're doing 2014 now, yes.
Who previously prepared the tax returns?
Jackson Hewitt's doing the amended ones that you said superseded the previous ones.
Right, but who did the previous ones?
I believe his father did.
Uh,
Pastor Taylor's father.
All right, and Clay and Associates, is that an accounting firm?
They are
And where are they located?
Missouri.
St. Louis? Or?
Missouri. I don't know which part of Missouri.
All right, they do accounting work, but not tax work?
They don't do our tax. They do. They do our 990s, which is they do
Okay.
the ministry's tax.
Very
returns.
close.
But they don't prepare the actual returns for Mr. Taylor for the ministry?
Oh,
They
yeah,
do
for
his-
sure.
They do not do his individual returns. No,
But they do the JMMI returns?
that is correct.
And they're continuing to do that?
Not this year. No,
Now you're going to Jackson Hewitt for all returns?
No.
Okay. Then tell me who's doing it. for
I
this
don't
year.
know. We're shopping.
Oh, okay. So you don't know, but neither Jackson Hewitt nor Clay and Associates are going to do the tax returns.
Jackson Hewitt's not going to do the tax returns for sure. I don't know if Clay is going to do them. I am shopping.
So you're no longer using Jackson Hewitt?
I use them for his personal returns.
Right. And he's going to continue to do that?
He's
Okay.
going to continue to use them. I'm going to continue to use them for his personal returns.
Okay.
yes.
I didn't understand that's what you meant. So, but you don't want to do JMMI?
No,
She's got that
want,
Hillary Clinton
somebody who specializes in church
pantsuit
affiliation, religious
top.
affiliation to do
Okay.
990s.
going on there.
Mr. Taylor testified that he gets a vacation bonus, and that JMMI is paid for example, trips to Disney World or the like. Has Mrs. Frazier gone on any of those trips, to your knowledge?
No.
Are you aware that he gets these vacation bonuses?
I'd like to hear the context on the deposition as to what was exactly stated.
Okay, page 173.
Nice. She's good. She is good.
Okay, so on page 170, question is, in June of 2013, there's over $6,000 worth of charges for the Disney Resort Hotel in Anaheim, California. Do you remember that? Answer, yes. Question, and did you go? Answer, yes, I was there. Question, and who were you with? Answer, I know it was 4 staff. I can't remember exactly who all went, but we were down there in Orlando for a meeting, and then we also went on vacation. Yes. Question, to Disneyland? Answer, yes. Question, and JMMI paid for that? Answer, yes. Question, and so do you report that on your income when you get paid for a vacation? Answer, I don't know. I'm not into that part. I have people that take care of that for me. Do you give the staff 1099s for paid vacations? That's question. Answer, I don't know the financial. And then it just went on to say he didn't know who was there. And then I think he went another time to Anaheim for $6,000 for a vacation to Disneyland. So, to your knowledge, did Mrs. Frazier go on any of those paid vacations?
I am not aware that they're paid vacations.
Well, they're charged on JMMI's
Doesn't
account.
necessarily mean it's a vacation.
He testified, Mr. Taylor, that it was a
Again,
vacation.
but he also said he didn't know.
No, he didn't know who, how it was financed, or I'm sorry, how it was expensed, but he said he knew that JMMI paid for it and it was a vacation.
But he said they did vacation, but he didn't say it was a paid vacation. And the reason I'm saying that is that we were there conducting business. In the normal course of business, yes, we stayed at a resort.
How convenient. We were conducting business at Disneyland while the ministry paid for it, while David took his kids to Disneyland, Disney World, while they conducted business. And then we're on vacation as well. I mean, it's
Okay, I'm going to continue on page
insulting,
171
really.
with his testimony. Question, so you took staff to Orlando and Anaheim for a vacation at Disney resorts?
Has anybody ever heard of Zoom? Like, it'll save you a lot of money. If you need to have a meeting, you don't necessarily, I mean, sometimes it's probably necessary to get on a plane and go face to face when, you know, but most meetings can be conducted either over the phone or through Zoom, but they prefer to go to Disneyland or Disney World and make a trip out of it. Well, since we're already, 600 miles just south of Disney World, we might as well go.
Answer, it's not quite like that. Question, okay. Answer, so I have different staff that accompany me to different cities I go into. So when I was in California that year and we went to Disney World at the same time, yeah, the staff go. I treated them to that. And so the same thing in Orlando when that happened. Question, all right. Answer, but I'm just stopping. Okay, I'm reading this, but it doesn't make sense. But I'm just stopping, just take them there. We are having a meeting engagement, and then on the time off, I allow that to happen. Question, and JMMI paid the $6,000 for the resort charges? Answer, yes, of course. Question, of course, even for the vacation? Yes, of course. And then he doesn't remember who went there. So his testimony was that some part was work, but some part was vacation, and he treated them to that. So let me ask you first, was Mrs. Frazier on any of these trips?
Again, Deborah Frazier was not on any of those trips.
You've never known her to take a trip with the ministry or with Mr. Taylor?
She wasn't on those trips. And yes, I have known her to take a trip with the ministry.
And what trip was that?
She took a trip to Korea.
Any other trip?
I believe she took 2 trips to Korea.
And this was, do you know what year?
I believe it was in 2013.
Excuse me, but the ministry pays for the Disney World and Disneyland parts that were vacation and the parts that were business. Is that your understanding?
No.
What's your understanding?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a vacation. Yes, we were there at a resort during work while we were conducting work business in the evening time. And yes, it was a resort. And yes, we did attend some of the functions while we were there, but it was not necessarily vacation because we did work.
I had to go get a goofy shake, and then we headed over to Knoxbury Farm to seal the deal.
Mr. Taylor testified about, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing the street name right, Timpage in Chesterfield, Missouri. The ownership.
He would live in a place named Chesterfield.
Of that property was confusing, and Mr. Taylor was not able to really provide much light on it.
Chesterfield.
The year that Mrs. Frazier made the bulk of her donations, JMMI used $250,000 on what was characterized as a down payment on this $2.5 million house. Do you recall that circumstance?
What year are you referring to that she gave because she gave sizable donations in 2 years? So what year are you referring to?
I think it's 2013. And about the same time as one or the other of these large donations came in, the residential house became part of JMMI's.
Correct. So during this time, they're living high on the hog off of this $1.2 million donation. And they say that they're conducting business while staying at a resort and going to Disney World during the day. And then, getting their business on at night. If you don't have to pay for the trip, it may even be a little bit more enjoyable. But good Lord.
I wouldn't say it was around the time that she gave that donation. No.
Okay. And why do you distinguish it that way?
Well, because there were other people who gave the same type of donations. They gave large donations during that period of time, during 2013.
Okay. Well, I realize funds are fungible, but it doesn't necessarily mean that those two things didn't happen simultaneously.
The correlation was not that this donation took place and then we purchased this property. That's not the case. No.
Okay. And you said that Mr. Taylor does not spend the night at that house?
He does not live there.
Does he spend the night there on occasion?
To my knowledge, now he does not know. He has in the past, yes.
When did the past and now, what was the dividing line?
Staff, various functions or whatever, has stayed in the night there, has stayed the night, has 6 rooms. But he does not live there. His items are not there.
That's good.
Okay. Do you know if Mrs. Frazier has ever spent the night there?
Mrs. Frazier or Deborah Frazier has never stayed there to my knowledge.
When I say Mrs. Frazier, I'm talking about Deborah.
Okay, well, to my knowledge, no.
Do you know if she's ever been there?
She's been there, yes.
For what occasions?
We've had staff functions there that Debbie's attended.
Is this a place that has a pool?
It does.
And were there, for example, barbecue?
Now a word from David Taylor.
Right now, I rule the kingdom. You submit and serve me. You don't see me out trying to have big miracle crusades.
It boggles my mind. I mean, how do you take that guy serious?
I'm working with God. I'm cooperating with what he's doing upon the earth. Now, I know you may not like and approve of the way I'm talking. I don't give a freak about that. You know that?
You have never seen me flinch in the eye of the enemy. Never seen me flinch in the eye of persecution. I never will. They can call me whatever because they'll take clips like what I'm on here and they'll show the part when I'm being boisterous or whatever.
Right. Oh, that's exactly what we're doing.
But you know what? Screw that. That's right. I said it. Screw that. Screw you. Screw all that junk.
Goodness gracious. Come on, man. You know how it goes around here. That's not cool, dude.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
You see, you got to be bold like that. You got to get to a point where you just don't care.
I'm going to say what needs to be said for a generation to be saved. I'm in the face of God. You think I care about man like that? Nobody gets in my way.
What is that? What is that hoodie? It's like a fully sublimated tiger, like lion hoodie. It looks ridiculous.
Not my mom, not my father, not my culture, nobody. I'm in love with him alone. I'm not in love with ministry, my name, no reputation like you are.
I made up my mind. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to scream to the top of my voice, my freaking voice,
Don't say any F's and stuff.
to get your freaking attention.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Because America is in trouble.
Darn idiots. John 19. That ain't the right kind of pastor calling people idiots. You shut up, idiot.
If you deny this, you are an idiot. You are a big idiot.
That's why I'm talking to you boldly. If you do not repent, and I'm talking to every pastor out there, and if you're a traitor against me or whatever, make sure you forward this to them. Or if you're a friend, do it both. But I want you to send it to every pastor. I want to send this to every pastor. If you turn away people from seeing Jesus face to face by speaking evil of me or making it like that, trying to make it look like it's about me, because you know it's really not about me. I never made my ministry about me. It's never about me. It's about Jesus. You're going to give an account for turning people away for the very reason why they come to your church. They're coming for Jesus and not for you, idiot. And when you do foolishness like that, God is going to get your butt. You're going to get gotten. You got me? No, I'm not a regular pastor, so don't even try to judge me. Well, look at the way he's talking. He's not even talking right. Screw you.
Whoa, come on, dude.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
I am very serious about souls, and I don't give a freak what any pastor
say any
say.
F's and
Look
stuff.
at how mad he is. You know what? Forget you. You want to see more? That's what's wrong with your sorry tale. That's why you can't win the world, because you ain't passionate enough. I will turn over tables, and I will get upset when the Father's business is not handled. You evil because you are not that way. I'm not evil because I'm this way. You are evil because you are not this way. You are not passionate. You have no conviction.
No, this is not based on somebody else's writing, young lady. This is based on the Bible and the kingdom. Now get your butt off my line if you don't want to listen to the words of the Lord Jesus through the Bible. Don't come on my page with no foolishness. And I want my staff, you delete them now.
Yeah, well, I want my staff to delete them.
I don't believe in cursing. I know a lot of leaders, they curse and stuff too. I don't believe in having a filthy mouth.
Is he serious?
But I'm very bold.
Very bold. I'm very bold.
And I will not
I'm very bold and I will not submit.
play their religious games. And this is why God is backing me up all over the world in over 200 countries.
200 countries.
I don't need a platform. I don't need to lick tail and tap dance.
That's the second time I've heard him use the reference to licking tail.
And this is why I go through insurmountable attacks from idiots on social media and on the Google website, putting all kind of crap out about me. You think I give a freak about what they say?
Don't say any F's and stuff.
I bet you they can't change a nation. I bet you they can't do anything I'm doing.
I bet you can't tie your own shoes because your belly gets in the way.
They can talk all that trash, but they're weak because they're letting the devil use them.
Man.
That's right, I said it.
And we see a lot of punk Christians. Anytime somebody says something about them, they draw back. You don't ever see me backing up. I'm going to put a hole in the head of Goliath.
Dude, Goliath would whoop you.
I will not back down.
You're going to fail. You're going to lose. You can't fight God and win. I don't care what you say about David Taylor.
So like people constantly bash him and other churches bash him and say like, watch out for him, and actual preachers that run churches properly. And there are a lot of them. This is not an attack on religion in any way, shape, or form. This is to let you know that there are people like David Taylor out there that use God, his name, in a very dishonest way for his gain and to buy matching Nike hoodies with matching hats, because Macy's don't make the kind of suits that he wear.
It don't matter what you say about me. If God is with me, you are screwed. It doesn't even make sense, man. I'm telling you, the church is messed up. They're psycho.
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
Of course, I don't believe in cursing. I know a lot of leaders, they curse and stuff too. I don't believe in having a filthy mouth, but I'm very bold. I'm no more pastors like that. I'm telling you, that are a bunch of pussies. That's why I said a bunch of pussies and training bar, titty wearing pastors.
Oh my God. I apologize, folks.
Somehow I just love making people mad sometimes.
They do a very good job of it, David.
Talk like that on TV. The majority of people won't listen to you. I don't give a freak.
You don't say any absent stuff.
How about that?
I'm saying David Taylor's going to jail. I'm not going to jail. I'm not in jail yet.
And you can't say I'm wrong. There are a lot of people wrong and they're negative. They're right and they're negative and they think they're right, but they're really right, they're negative, and they're wrong.
What the hell did that mean? Did anybody else? What is that? I feel like I had a mini stroke. Let's hear that again.
No, I'm not in jail yet.
And you can't say I'm wrong.
You can't say I'm wrong.
There are a lot of people wrong.
There are a lot of people wrong.
And they're negative.
And they're negative.
They're right. And
they're right and
they're negative, and they think
and they're negative.
They're right, but they're really wrong.
And they think that they're right, but they're really
right, they're negative and they're wrong.
They're negative and they're wrong.
I'm the Moses of this generation. Anybody who follow me got to be peculiar.
The Moses of this generation, anybody that follow me got to be peculiar.
Because I'm strange as on.
See, I don't even think that's not word salad. That's word mashed potatoes, gravy, corn. I don't know what the hell it is, to be honest with you.
You know what? People, listen. We do not wait for a miracle crusade to do miracles. You understand? We see people get out of wheelchairs on the phone.
It says, Jesus shall descend from heaven with a shout and with the trump of God. God has a personal trumpet. He loves trumpets.
He loves trumpets.
As a matter of fact, when he came on Mount Sinai, it says that the trumpet was blowing. No human was blowing one. God was just letting his trumpet blow. Can you imagine that? Thunder coming down when God comes down on Mount Sinai. Lightning. Earthquakes. Wind and smoke blowing. And then all of a sudden a trumpet playing at the same time while it's and then the Bible says the trumpet began to wax louder and louder. It just kept doing it. God loves that trumpet with his presence.
The trumpet?
I gotta bite my lips because they get chapped every winter. But this is how you know.
I'm not going anywhere near that.
May you take us to the next dimension. You that you think God don't see you, I see you.
Wait.
Do not understand why when the greatest miracles happen, I'm always having the most worst hair day. My hair keeps popping up and I don't understand why it won't be obedient under the miracles of God.
Because it's of the devil. Zing, zow, pow, boom.
Spooky, spooky doo.
What the hell is
Spooky, spooky.
Look at that! Look at that! Look at that shirt! Where did that come from, man? That is embarrassing. Oh, this is great. Let me look. I like the guy pushing him. I like how the guy in the back is pushing him. I mean, it's just some of the most mental stuff you'll ever see in your life. Ever. Oh, man. All right, back to Michelle.
Cues and pool events, some social gathering
Absolutely, yes.
for the staff.
Correct.
And Mrs. Fraser was there.
She was.
Do you know how many times?
That I know of, maybe 4.
Boogity boo.
Have you ever seen the children there?
Are we talking about
Fraser
Fraser's
children.
I do recall seeing her children there. I want to say maybe I want to say once that I know of.
For what event?
I don't know. I know it was some barbecue, but I don't know which of specific event it was.
Do you have a ballpark of when it was? I assume if it's a barbecue, it's nice weather, summer.
No, I mean he's Tin Page property has an outside grill, and so we grill year round.
Who does the grilling?
The staff.
So you recall that Mrs. Fraser and her children were at one of those events.
They were. I do recall seeing her children.
Any idea year?
It would. I mean, I'm assuming, and I don't want to assume, so let me rephrase that. It would have to have been probably sometime in late 2013 or in 2014, because we didn't have the property prior to October 25th of 2013. But I just don't know specifically when.
When her children were there with her, were there services at all? Ministry involvement?
I could not tell you that. I don't remember.
Did you attend that?
The function that I remember seeing her children at?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you speak with her children?
Yes, I spoke to her son because her son's the same age as my son.
And was your son there?
My son was there, absolutely.
You don't recall speaking to the daughters?
I may have said hi or something. I just don't really remember.
Okay. The children have come back from times in Missouri with some of what you call the products, the tapes or books or whatever. Do you have any idea how it is that the children got those?
No, I wouldn't know.
You didn't give them to them?
No.
You didn't see the pastor give them to
He
him?
wouldn't give them. Mm-mm.
Why do you say that?
Well, because he just, if we have functions there, he's usually not there handing out product.
Would you say he's sort of above that level of activity?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm just saying he wouldn't. I would not see him doing that.
Ever?
I wouldn't say ever.
But-
I just don't see him doing that, especially to children.
Okay. Mr. Taylor had a difficult time explaining the residential center finances. He seemed to think they were renting it, but maybe you were buying it, and that there was another $250,000 that was due pretty soon, and yet there were payments of $6,500 a month. Does this sound familiar to you?
Is this what he said in his deposition?
Yeah.
Can you read
Well,
that?
some of the documents also we saw the rent payment.
Okay.
Can you pull that?
Yeah.
Well, while you're looking, I'll rephrase the question. From your understanding, what are the finances about the residential center property?
We entered into a lease to buy or lease to purchase agreement, but we wrote it up as a rent to begin with.
You wrote it up as just a straight lease?
We didn't. They wrote it up.
Who's
as
they?
the attorneys that were involved with that.
Who's the owner of it?
Now, for the record, he did want to remain anonymous, but it's okay for me to say this. Okay, Harold Lewis.
And who is Harold Lewis?
He's a businessman.
Is he a member of JMMI?
He's not.
Okay, so he's not connected to the ministry?
No.
He's the owner of the house?
Correct.
Okay, so you wrote it up as a lease. If it's written up as a lease, why did you put $250,000 down?
We were doing it as a purchase to buy.
But you don't have paperwork that shows it as a purchase to buy. It just shows it as a lease.
A lease to buy. Yeah.
It doesn't say lease to buy. The lease just refers to it as a lease with $6,500 a month in rent.
Right.
So you don't know why they put it $250,000
Well, I know why
payment?
we put that down as more of a gentleman's agreement that we were going to, and he gave us a receipt for it and said, "What here's $250,000 that you put down towards this house."
Nice.
And when's the next $250,000?
Well, he's been working with us on that.
Just as an aside, do you realize that all agreements regarding real estate have to be in writing? You can't have a gentleman's agreement.
Not true.
Just as an,
It's not true. Just
statute
one
of
one here.
frauds.
No, if there's partial performance, which includes a deposit, you've avoided statute of frauds. Just one here.
I don't know that to
I
be
disagree
true.
with that,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter. That was
Yeah.
just, I
Yeah,
was
that's
pretty much
totally
aghast that
fair.
that scenario was happening. Whoever advised you guys didn't do a good job, but that's an aside.
It was David.
Okay. So $250,000 is due shortly? True?
He's working with us on it. I wouldn't say it's due short. I know he's working with us on it.
Working on it meaning to delay or time the payment?
We're trying to work out a deal. We're working with two attorneys. We have our real estate attorney.
Who's that?
His name is Jeff.
So what she's doing is she's trying to she's trying to recoup some of that money, and she's trying to see okay, well, if you have a payment coming up, why can't you give Deborah some of her money back? And that's the angle she's working.
Jeff Weisling. And right now, and I know our conversations they're privileged as well, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
I'm not asking you what he advised you. I'm just asking you his name. And so the ultimate goal is to purchase outright this house?
Correct.
And it's valued approximately at 2.5 million. Is that your
Correct.
understanding? Okay. A lot of the JMMI bank statements, specifically the ones ending in 3526, for example, show a charge to a Ruth Chris Steakhouse in St. Louis for almost $1,500. Would Deborah Fraser have benefited from that and attended that
I
event?
have no way of knowing that.
You wouldn't have been there?
I could not possibly tell you I would remember that. I do not remember that.
She doesn't remember.
There's also another charge at Red Lobster for over $1,000.
Oh
Deborah Fraser.
my gosh, $1,000 at a Red Lobster. You can feed a family of 10 at Red Lobster for maybe $75, 85 with a tip, but $1,000 at a Red Lobster. And who eats at Red Lobster? It's sick.
Have attended those kinds of dinners, if you know.
I mean, it's possible.
In fact, JMMI, I think, total $65,000 for meals on the bank statements. Would that be something that Deborah Fraser would have participated in, at least on occasion?
It's possible.
Who else goes to those? Would Mr. Taylor have gone?
He would have gone on occasion. I couldn't tell you.
Oh, he goes every time.
There's no way impossible.
He goes every time.
Wouldn't know unless I went through every single charge.
Okay. Who authorizes that kind of charge?
Well, it depends on him.
Well, who went?
Would it be fair to say that they were authorized if they end up on your bank account?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And say that it's just staff, but not Mr. Taylor. Who would authorize it?
Myself or La Marcia McDonald.
You know, La Marcia doesn't need to know Long John Silver's.
Actually,
Red
JMMI
Lobster.
had been paying your rent, weren't they?
I'm not paying my rent.
$1,600 on September 10th, 2013, check number 5861.
No, there was situations surrounding that. No,
What was the
they
situation?
didn't pay my rent.
What did they do?
Okay, so I asked for an advance on my check, and so I could pay my rent for other things I was taking care of with my daughter, and it was deducted from my check.
Okay.
How nice.
On July 22nd, 2014, JMMI paid $550 to Elegant Jewelers in Birmingham, Alabama. And Mr. Taylor indicated, that's on page 204, that you would know what that was about.
Are you going to read the deposition portion, please?
It's page 204.
Yeah, just find specific references. Starts here. I think the reference to Michelle has the answer.
Okay, question. In July 22nd, 2014, you paid $550 to Elegant Jewelers in Birmingham, Alabama. Dash JMMI did. What was that for? Answer, I don't know. I don't know what that. Dash, I have no knowledge of that. Question, do you think you should have knowledge of it? Answer, no, I have people taking care of that. Question, so it's okay for somebody to buy jewelry? Answer, I don't think they purchase jewelry. You need to question, it's a jewelry store. And it goes on Elegant Jewelry. And I think at some point it says that, oh, here it says, I'm not aware of that, so you probably need to ask Michelle about what that purchase was.
So he said probably he didn't know. I don't have the knowledge right now exactly what that is.
Would Deborah Fraser have been the beneficiary of that purchase, or could she have been?
I have no idea.
Who would be the
Without
person that would
researching.
know?
We would have to go back and look.
And what would you look at to find out?
To find out if there was any receipts that were brought back or any receipts that were given for that, or going online and see if Ashley remembers.
Ask Michelle.
Mr. Taylor was charged with child abuse at one point. You aware of that?
I don't feel like I should answer that. I want to
do
answer that.
You don't have any knowledge. You weren't there. Were you even working there at the time?
Yeah.
Yes, I was looking. Pastor Taylor.
You've heard the allegations? That's all you've heard, right?
Allegations, yes, sir.
And you're aware Children's Protective Services was involved?
It's yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. And his parenting time was restricted with that child? You aware of that?
Do you know? Yeah.
Just answer.
Yes.
Okay. And
Dang, really? Wow, Mr. Taylor charged with child abuse? Child abuse? And the courts had to get involved? What? Say what?
Ask Michelle.
the allegation centered around Mr. Taylor hitting his daughter Destiny with a belt? Is that your
Now you're
understanding?
starting to get into stuff unless you can establish she was a
I
witness.
just was, I said, are you aware of that? But you cut me off. Is that something you're aware of?
I don't feel comfortable answering that. I
It's
don't
just
know.
yes or no if,
No.
if you're aware of it.
She's
You're not aware
I'm
of
not aware of what you just said. Are you aware of him? I'm aware of charges.
of the allegations?
Correct.
Okay, you're not aware whether he actually did it?
That is correct.
Okay, do you know if Mr. Taylor denied that?
I wouldn't know.
To you, did he deny it?
I wouldn't discuss that with you because it would be a conversation between me and my pastor.
It's not of a,
It absolutely is. If I and he were in a conversation with each other, I wouldn't feel comfortable discussing that.
are you his confessor or minister?
No, but I also, have conversations that are very private with my pastor, and I do not feel comfortable saying that.
I don't think priest penitent at all covers statements he would make in terms of admissions.
It can be where it is in the conjunction of a conversation. Well, wait a minute. The problem is that is an interpretation under Michigan law, not Missouri law. And the relationship between Ms. Brannon and the pastor would be based on conversations primarily in Missouri. And unless you can establish that the conversations took here, Michigan law doesn't apply.
The judge gave a ruling.
No, I remember seeing the opinion.
Okay.
So I understand what it is, but those opinions has to do with what I believe what happens here.
But you didn't challenge that opinion, did you?
I wasn't part of the motion. It was done before I appeared.
I
in case.
understand, but you didn't challenge it
I
before.
had
this.
nothing to do with it. It had
Well,
to do
it
with,
applies to
there's
this
nothing-
deposition.
It does not apply to my clients at all. That had something to do with, I believe, with Pastor Taylor only because it was, wasn't it?
Right, so I'm asking if
No.
Pastor Taylor indicated one way or another if those allegations were truthful. That is not a priest penitent type objection or privilege.
He got in trouble for it, no
because
question.
it's not comments made by this witness with regard to her relationship religious-wise with Mr. Taylor.
If it comes up in the conversation where she's talking to him as his pastor and it is part of the conversation, yes, you can't bisect a part of it and say, this isn't.
I'm just gonna move on.
Okay.
Mr. Taylor's legal bills were paid through JMMI accounts, were they not, for the Children's Protective Services proceedings?
His attorney bills were paid for his attorney in this matter. I wouldn't say Child Protective because they didn't pay anything to Child Protective.
No.
No.
Child Protective Services, or the equivalent in Missouri,
I understand.
made allegations with regard to Mr. Taylor. There were certain court proceedings regarding that.
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Taylor had a lawyer.
Correct.
Mr. Taylor's lawyer, from the documents I've seen, was paid for by JMMI for those proceedings?
Correct.
Okay. On November 14th, 2013, there's a purchase of almost $10,000 from Amini's Galleria in St. Louis. And it's a store that does pool tables, game rooms, jukeboxes, et cetera. Are you aware of that purchase?
I would need to see specifics of the receipt to see what was purchased.
You don't have any knowledge of a $10,000 item being purchased for JMMI?
Not off the top of my head. I know we've purchased things, but I don't remember what that is.
Was there a new pool table that showed up at the residential
Of course not.
center?
There's no pool table.
Something worth $10,000. Do you know if Debbie Frazier was a beneficiary of that purchase in any way?
I wouldn't know. I don't know off the top of my head.
There's a January 21st, 2014 expenditure for $1,000 at United Pillows. Do you know what that purchase is about?
Not off the top of my head. No.
Do you know if Deborah Frazier was in any way a beneficiary of that purchase?
I don't know.
On August 19th, 2014, according to a JMMI bank statement, JMMI paid $61 12 different times to 2 gas stations in Southgate, Michigan. Was Deborah Frazier involved in that transaction?
I don't remember. I mean, I don't know.
What would have been the circumstances by which 12, I would assume, tankfuls of gas separately were purchased?
In August of every year, we have a crusade against cancer. And during that crusade, we have a enormous amount of staff that go out and minister to people in the streets and hand out tracts and pray for people.
Hand out
tracts, hand out flyers, hand out
or
things.
tracts?
Tracts is just a terminology of an outline of what our church, our ministry is
Oh.
about.
Never heard the term.
So they hand out flyers and minister to people and praying for people. So absolutely, that's
So you would pay for their gas to do that?
yes.
The IRS tax exempt paperwork that you've provided shows that the tax exempt status for JMMI was effective July 16th, 2012. Is that your understanding?
It was before my time.
You don't know about that?
I do not.
Okay. At any time, did you inform donors who had made donations prior to July 16th, 2012, that you didn't have the proper tax exempt
Michelle sucks.
designation to receive donations?
Objection, form foundation.
Okay.
Well, okay, she wasn't there at the time, but,
No, subsequent to when she was there, that's what I'm asking.
well, but you just said that the date that it was effective was before she got there.
Right, so I'm asking, after she got there, was she involved in any way in telling donors that the tax exempt status was not effective until July of 2012?
Go ahead, next question if you can.
I don't remember. I don't know.
You don't know if you ever told anybody that? How many people on the average attend JMMI gatherings or meetings or crusades? Is there a way to know?
It
Objection,
varies.
irrelevant, immaterial, and it's also overly broad. You have to be more specific.
We can still get the answer.
It varies.
Okay, from what would you say a high to a low is?
Tens of thousands to a low of maybe 40.
Tens of thousands?
Absolutely.
What building holds tens of thousands?
Well, Liberia, the Crusade in Liberia.
And you have a facility there that will hold tens of thousands?
We don't have a facility, but we were sponsored to come out there. Yeah.
Say that again. You were.
We didn't have a building. JMMI did not have a building, but you asked if we, on average, how many attend these events. Yes.
And in Liberia, they were specifically attending for JMMI, or
That's correct.
how would you get tens of thousands of people in Liberia to?
You
show up
haven't
for
been to
JMMI?
Crusade, have you?
No. But the ones in Taylor, what would you say the high to low range is on that?
It's not a lot to do in
It
Liberia.
varies.
Right, but what would be the range? What's a lot? What's a little?
I would say 50 to a couple thousand.
Have you ever seen Deborah Frazier there?
Yes.
How many times would you say?
I see her regularly when I've gone.
I'm sorry. Have you ever seen the children there?
I mean, I have seen her children there. I couldn't tell you when exactly.
But you've seen her children at the Taylor facility
I have.
during a crusade?
And we have crusades and conferences. I wouldn't say necessarily it was a crusade. I couldn't tell you.
Or a conference?
It's possible.
What would
One or the
be?
other.
Pardon me? One or the
One or the
other.
other, I just don't
Okay.
know.
So when you saw them, it would be at either a crusade or a conference.
Correct.
Did you know there was a court order saying that they should not attend anything with JMMI?
No.
Okay. I'm telling you that now, so you're aware of that now.
Oh, I mean, I'm aware now, but
Okay.
after you just told me.
Is it accurate to assume that you are licensed to solicit funds in St. Louis and in Michigan,
To my knowledge.
to your knowledge? And have you ever had any complaints against JMMI, Better Business Bureau, or the Attorney General's office?
Not to my knowledge.
Mr. Taylor wasn't exactly sure about this in his deposition, but the JMMI balance sheet for November 2014 had an asset listed at a value of over $1 million that was referred to as collectibles. What's that?
We had a lady donate a sum of collectibles, and she said the average, the insurance value of those things were probably around $1 million.
So that's based on her belief of what the fair market value
And
is?
what she was able to provide as documentation, yes.
Where are those collectibles now?
Some of them have been liquidated. Others are in different locations because there's a lot of collectibles.
In
Storage, a storage unit.
there was a JMMI bank account that's entitled Amazon account.
Correct.
What's that for?
That is for, we have products on Amazon.com.
Oh, that you sell?
Correct.
Okay. And so you pay for Amazon, or you're receiving income from Amazon?
Right. We receive income from Amazon.
Okay. Do you know offhand if JMMI revenue is up or down in 2014?
Based on what?
Well, your year-end statements, the year's over. 2014 compared to other years, was it higher donations or lower than they were?
It was lower.
Lower? Do you have an idea by how much?
I don't.
Was it something that was significant and caused you some concern, or?
No, Pastor Taylor took the first part of the year off to go into prayer and consecration. So
2014, he took half the year off?
he did.
What would that look like? What would that mean he would do?
He wouldn't go to conferences, or, if he would just come out for crusades. He usually spent most of that time in prayer.
In prayer?
Mhm.
And where was that?
St. Louis.
Do you know if Deborah Fraser participated in that with him?
Participated in what?
His prayer?
No, she would not have.
No?
No,
Okay. I mean, you kind of act like I should know that. I have no idea how this works.
no.
Okay. There is what's referred to as a 10,000 man conference call. You aware of
I
that?
am.
And are there actually 10,000 people on the line?
No, there's not 10,000 people on the line.
Okay. Do you have any idea how many actually call in?
It varies.
From what's a high to a low?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, it varies. It's so sporadic. I couldn't say.
But that happens every Thursday?
It does.
And are people charged for participating?
No,
But you have no idea how many actually participate when you do this?
I mean, I personally do not know.
Okay. Are you aware that at least one of the Fraser children has participated in that conference?
No.
Paul? Do you encourage children that are underage to participate in this?
I mean, I don't encourage anybody other than, if people want to hear it, I don't, regardless of their age.
Say that again, I'm
I
sorry.
said, I don't encourage anybody to call other than if they want to call in and listen to it. I don't know what their ages are. My children listen to it.
Oh, all right. So your children participate in it?
My 12-year-old, yes.
Did you by chance give any of the Fraser children that phone number?
Of course not.
Do you have any knowledge of anybody that did?
I don't know.
Okay. The 2010 tax return said that you had approximately 25 volunteers, and the 2012 tax return said that you have about 800. Do you believe that there are about 800 volunteers working for JMMI?
I do.
And how did you go from 25 to 800?
It was before my time. I couldn't tell you that we only had 25.
Okay. Are you aware that in April of 2014, the judge in this case signed an order that said Deborah Fraser was not to donate any money to JMMI or other churches?
No.
You're not aware of that?
I'm not aware of that.
Pastor Taylor didn't tell you that?
No.
He's been advised of that, so he has not talked to you about that?
No. And advised recently in his recent deposition. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't care when. I'm just saying he's not mentioned that to you that, oh, by the way.
No, but the previous attorneys told us recently.
Don't say anything about attorneys.
Pastor Taylor didn't tell you anything about it?
No.
Okay. So when did you become aware that there was a court order that Deborah Fraser couldn't donate any money?
I want to say the deposition, like 2 depositions ago.
With Mr. Taylor?
With Mr. Taylor.
He came back and told you that?
He did not.
Who?
Objection.
What?
Attorney-client privilege.
Well, I don't know. She didn't say who said it.
Well, but the minute she does, she becomes.
I'm not asking the content of it. I'm just asking.
Well, you are by the form of the question.
So at any rate, you're aware that she's not to donate any money?
I am now.
Okay. If she were to donate money and you became aware of it, what would be your course of action?
Well, she's a grown
Objection
woman.
calls for conjecture. Go ahead and
No.
answer the question if you can.
How would I know? I mean, honestly, I don't know how I would handle it.
You haven't had any conversations in the ministry about what to do?
We've never been in this situation before.
You're in it now. Isn't that kind of an important thing to know? So I assume you don't like being in this.
Objection, irrelevant immaterial.
I mean, you said this is
Objection.
frustrating and difficult to be in this mess.
I said what my conversation was with Debbie about
Right.
being frustrating. and
Right.
difficult.
I would assume that this is not your idea of how to spend your time or your money for the ministry. True?
That's true.
Okay. And you're aware that Deborah Fraser is forbidden by court order from donating money?
Now I am, yes.
Okay. So if she donated money and you became aware of it, would that cause you any concern going forward?
Well, of course I would.
Are people, for example, like Ashley Ware, aware of the court order?
No, Ashley wouldn't be aware unless we told her.
Okay. Has anybody told her?
No.
So if Deborah Fraser donated money, it's possible that you wouldn't know it at the time. True?
If Debbie didn't put her name down, we wouldn't know who gave it. If she gave it anonymously, we
No, I'm not
wouldn't
talking about that. What I'm talking about is, say, for example, she gave you check or cash and it went to somebody like Ashley as opposed to you. You may not be aware of it, that she was making a donation.
know. I mean, that's possible.
Okay. Do you think it's important that people like Ashley Ware also know that the donations are not to be made by Deborah Fraser?
Objection, form of the question, irrelevant immaterial. Go ahead and
Okay.
answer the question if you can.
You can just have a continuing objection. I don't care.
No, I can't.
I think that's very difficult to say because, we believe that what the word says, that you are to pay your tithes and offerings. So you're asking me if I would tell somebody not to do something that they believe is their God-given right to do. And I wouldn't know how to answer that. And I'm being honest. I don't know.
Okay. Even though you know.
I gotta hear this again. This is a
that
good
it's important
exchange.
that people like Ashley Ware also know that the donations are not to be made by Deborah Fraser.
Objection, form of the question, irrelevant immaterial. Go ahead and
Okay.
answer the question if you can.
You can just have a continuing objection. I don't care.
No, I can't.
I think that's very difficult to say because, we believe
Oh,
that
that's funny.
what the word says, that you are to pay your tithes and offerings. So you're asking me if I would tell somebody not to do something that they believe is their God-given right to do. And I wouldn't know how to answer that. And I'm being honest. I don't know.
Okay. Even though you know that I mean, you're aware, obviously, from all this testimony that Debbie has violated that court order.
Correct.
Okay. And that's what brings you into looking at finances and documentation about Debbie and the money in JMMI. So it would be your position that it's not up to you to say anything to Debbie about it?
If Debbie pays her tithes, which is her God-given right to do according to what we believe with the Bible, how can you tell me? I wouldn't want somebody to tell me you're not paying your tithes. That's not my place to tell her. However, I would honestly encourage her not to.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I'm looking
But
for.
I wouldn't tell her not to believe or not to do based on her belief.
I'm not asking about beliefs, but she pays more than a tithe, right? She's donated a heck of a lot more than a tithe. True?
I wouldn't say true or false. I mean, I don't know what she titled it as, a tithe or an offering in her personal, position with God. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're
Michelle's
saying,
slick for sure.
Tithing, you believe that that's a right to do. But let me ask you this. Are you aware that Debbie gave virtually her entire financial estate to JMMI?
Checking for foundation.
That's okay.
Same objection. Go ahead, answer the question if you can.
Only recently.
Okay.
I did not know about it before.
You realize, are you aware that she had a home that was owned free and clear and is now mortgaged to pay tax consequences from cashing out retirement accounts and giving them to JMMI? Are you aware of that? You're aware that she at one point owned her house free and clear, but no longer does because of the mortgage she had to put on for taxes and attorney fees and that kind of thing?
No.
Not aware of that. Are you aware that the judge discontinued all child support to her?
No.
Are you aware that she virtually has no money left?
No.
Okay. Would she could become homeless if this trend continues?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been to her house?
No.
Do you know who from JMMI has been to her house?
I don't know.
Are you aware that Mrs. Frazier has been diagnosed by psychological exam and psychiatric exam as being delusional and mentally ill?
Foreign foundation.
Same thing like qualification.
No.
Condition.
No one had mentioned that to you?
No.
Okay. I'm telling you now that she has been diagnosed as being of significant mental illness or having a significant mental illness. Does that at all impact how you would handle Deborah Frazier and her donations?
Objection calls for conjecture. Go ahead, answer the question if you can.
Again, I would say truthfully and honestly, I would encourage her not to, based on the information I know. But I wouldn't tell her, don't do what you feel God is telling you to do. That's not my place.
I'm not asking for a religious dissection of that dynamic. I'm just asking you as a practical thing. You're going to say,
absolutely.
Okay. Mr. Taylor said in his deposition that he would speak to the board about the possibility of giving Mrs. Frazier some of her money back. You're a board member. Did Mr. Taylor talk about that at all yet?
No. Do you have it in his deposition?
Yes, but I'm just asking if you've had that.
So all they need is La Marcia, and then they because they have 2 vacant spots because David's parents are no longer on there.
Conversation with them about doing that. Is that something that you could foresee happening?
Objection
as a
calls for
possibility?
conjecture, and it calls for also privileged communication between 2 different attorneys who have advised her. So I'm
asking
instructing
for attorneys.
she's been given information, and I'm instructing her not to answer.
I'm not asking for anything about the attorneys. I'm asking about she and Mr. Taylor and whether it's a possibility Mrs. Frazier can get any of her money
The
back.
discussions have taken place that the attorneys have been involved with, including me personally, and anything she would testify to would include information, recommendations, and other information that I've given her. So the answer is she is not to answer that question.
Broad interpretation.
What?
Okay, that's a broad interpretation. Okay.
Mr. Taylor's indicated that you have offices in Budapest. Is that true?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know?
I wouldn't know.
On these crusades that are in Liberia, do you go there?
I have never been to Crusade in Liberia.
Or Budapest?
I have not been to Budapest.
Where have you attended crusades?
Korea. The U.S.
There are bank statements in March of 2013 that shows that someone withdrew $2,500 and $7,600 in cash from the ministry. Do you know who withdrew that?
I don't know.
How would you not know who withdrew $2,500 and $7,500?
Do you know if Deborah Frazier would have had an ability to do that?
She would not have had an ability to do that unless a check was written to her.
I think these are cash withdrawals. She has your bank account number, doesn't she? Because she wire transferred funds.
But how can you withdraw cash from that?
You got your banking information,
No.
you can.
No.
Walk up with a withdrawal slip with the account number on it.
No, they ask for ID. I can't go up there and withdraw that cash. No.
You know that you have to be at the courthouse tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
I do.
For this trial. Well, I mean this.
Oh, yeah. Wait. With that one or you want that one?
I'm both. Yeah, notice says that.
Oh, that's an email.
I'm going to show you the tax returns.
All right, hold on here.
Everything I teach is from the Word of God. I haven't opened the Bible yet, but I'm a living epistle. I've given you about 20 scriptures already. Situation you're facing, God will change that and turn that around right now if you obey Him and if you do what we tell you. You say, why we got to call the prayer line? That's a gimmick. No, it's not. It's the Word of God. Every time you call for prayer, every time you want something, say, God, I'm sowing a seed today. Amen. Be obedient to God. As a prophet, I'm commanding you to give it. You don't have to wait on God to talk to you. I'm His representative.
Oh, nice.
If you obey my words, God will bless your finances. As a matter of fact, He'll make you a millionaire. If you're already a millionaire, He'll make you a multi-hundred-million millionaire or a billionaire if you obey my voice.
This one's gonna be good. Oh no. Dude. You could shoot a BB right at that thing. I've never seen anything quite like that. I mean, can you see that? It's like the worst bald spot I've ever seen in my life. It's almost perfectly round. Like almost perfectly round. It's impressive. I don't know what the guy's mental issue is. It's a lot though. I know that. Where we got here? Where did we get rid of Michelle in accident here? I think we did. Hold on.
And I think we showed you one of Mr. Taylor's personal tax returns for 2013 that showed income of $27,000, but on JMMI's tax return showing compensation, it showed he received almost $120,000. And he's indicated that you provide and manage JMMI's finances and his personal finances.
Can I see the deposition where it said that?
I'm
he said
going to
that?
show you the documents.
Okay. But you're saying that he said this. Can I see in the deposition where he said that?
No, he said, I think you've agreed already on the record that you help manage his personal finances.
Correct.
Okay, and you help manage JMMI's finances.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to show you the. Yeah, it's on here. Well, I'm going to show you the 990 from JMMI for 2013. Can you see that?
Okay.
Here's the front page. It's exhibit number 16.
Okay.
Page 7.
Okay.
And can you read this line across?
This is, do you need to see that?
No, I'm just.
Okay. David Taylor, 40 hours per week.
And what number is put in for compensation?
$119,916.
Right?
Correct.
And it says reportable compensation from the organization by W-2 or 1099.
What is it? Where are you talking about? Okay.
That's right? That's accurate?
That's what it says.
Right. And then this is Mr. Taylor's 2013 personal tax return that we, that you, what did you just do?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was just marked as deposition exhibit 15. And can you read whose tax return it is?
David E. Taylor.
And let me turn this so I can read it. Can you read the number that is indicated as his wages and salaries from W-2?
No, she cannot. But while she's thinking about doing that, talking levitation. Pastor wants your stimulus check. People bowing and asking for forgiveness. Let's see. Oh, the obey ones are pretty good. Apostle David E. Taylor. Ascending to heaven. I like that one. That's one of my favorites. Says he is a king. Let's hear that one.
I talked with him face to face. And he says, you have sought my son, and you have gained the foremost, closest relationship out of all men and women up on the earth. That's what he told me. He says, that's why I gave you face to face and no one else on the earth.
Right.
You don't have God in your life, not like this, not on this dimension. Every pastor, every leader, every apostle, every fivefold ministry officer need to be a part of God's face-to-face movement. If you're not, you're in rebellion to the king. I'm going to say it again. I have the seal of the imperial power. I've been given the seal of power.
I love this guy behind him. Just he's easily my favorite character.
And I'm the key holder on earth to the kingdom. And if you reject this, because see, I can speak on pain of death before witnesses and before millions of people. You can't do that. On pain of death, I can say that Jesus has appeared to me and I'm willing for him to kill me if I'm lying. I give him the right to destroy me.
I don't think he needs your permission.
If I'm lying about him appearing to me, you can't do that because you'll die, because you're a liar. I'm not a liar. I can speak on pain of death.
I don't even know what any of that means. And I don't know anybody that does, actually.
It says 27,479.
Now, is this information that you helped or facilitate in any way being prepared?
This particular return,
Number 15?
return number 15 for 2013, as stated earlier, I did not do that return. I have done an amended return since then.
Okay. And you were going to try and see if that could be sent over?
It won't be sent over before they're done with it. So when they're done,
Oh, it's not done?
It's not done.
Oh, I was under the impression it was done.
No.
What do you think the time frame is for having it
I would
completed?
have to call and ask them.
Okay. So is part of the goal in redoing the return to reconcile the two different tax returns with JMMI and Mr. Taylor's personal tax return?
I would say yes.
Okay. If we can go off the record for a minute, and I'm likely to next ask you about some of the Ashley Ware responses.
We're going off the record. It is 3:02 p.m.
Look at what I emailed you, because I know you're not marking my tablet.
We're back on the record. It is 3:13 p.m.
All right, just for the record, Mr. Poling has emailed to all the attorneys some of the documents that we were discussing. And so we are all pulling up on our individual little electronic devices, the same documents, and we'll ask a couple questions just for a frame of reference on this, but we obviously can't mark these. So, Brandon, can you identify the first document that shows up on the tablet?
It's a deposit, looks like a copy of a deposit slip for credit.
Okay, and it says out-of-state counter deposit?
Correct.
And
too.
does it have the bank account number for JMMI at the bottom?
It does.
And the date on this?
Is July 12th, 2014.
And how much is deposited?
$5,000.
Okay, and it's cash, correct?
Correct.
And I think if you, on the top document, if you enlarge it, it circles 34 for Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
And so it'd be your understanding that a deposit of $5,000 cash was made directly into a JMMI account that is located in Missouri.
Yes, there was $5,000 that was deposited into a JMMI account.
It was deposited in Michigan.
Correct.
Okay. There's a phone number down here that starts with 734.
Correct.
Do you recognize that number?
I don't.
Is it possible that it has something to do with the Taylor facility?
Or a person who deposited its personal cell phone. I don't know.
You don't know.
I
Okay.
do
That you
not.
don't recognize that number.
No.
Okay. Then there is the second document. Can you identify that, please?
It's a cash-in debit. Looks like a just a transaction had taken place of the $5,000.
So you believe that this reflects the same deposit from the first document?
Correct.
Was there anything happening in Taylor on July 12th? Any kind of crusade or meeting?
I don't remember if we had a conference. I would have to check the calendar. I don't remember.
Although the date on the first document is July 12th.
Yes, July 12th.
All right. If you look at the second document, I believe it says transaction up on the top right, July 14th.
It says July 14th.
Could these be two separate transactions, particularly considering that Deborah Frazier donated $10,000 from the June Crusade seed money?
Different how? I mean, different than the ones that...
Well, I go to the third document. I'm sorry, go to the second. It says July 14th at 10:56
Mhm.
as, as a time looks like the way it's written. Okay, then the next one down here, the third one says, am I correct, July 14th, 2014, and that's at 10:40.
Correct.
So they're not, document 2 and 3 are not.
I don't know.
referencing
This
same
might be the
transaction.
last
Would that
one
be
of
your
these that I
conclusion?
do.
Correct.
And
I don't
document
know.
3 references another $5,000.
But thank you, Danny. I appreciate that.
Yes, in cash.
Correct.
Council, the answer on the 12th and
Turn
14th. The
that.
12th is 12th is a Saturday, which means on banking rules it won't be posted until Monday.
Right, so it would have gone, it would have been posted on the 14th.
That's why the dates don't try on the 12th.
Right, but the transaction on the typed up sheet does say the 14th. So
Today would be posted into the account.
right, so would it look like from documents 2 and 3 that there were two different deposits in cash of $5,000?
Yes.
And they're both out of state? Well, if you look, the cash in for on the third document, it says Southgate.
Yes.
All right, so one is made in Southgate and one is made in Taylor. Is that how you read that? Those are two different cities.
Oh, okay. These two, just
Yeah.
Taylor and Southgate.
Right.
Yes.
So you would interpret that to mean that two different deposits of $5,000 each were made at two different locations in Michigan.
Yes. I mean, if these are two different state or cities, then
Okay.
yes,
And this account number you recognize as being for JMMI.
that is correct.
And so these deposits were made in Michigan cities with JMMI's account number for an account that's referenced in Missouri or based in Missouri.
Correct.
Okay. And the next document is the check from August 27th, 2014 to JMMI for $7,500.
Correct.
And the signatory on that check is?
Eleonora Hoskins.
Do you know who that woman is?
Not before today.
Today you know her as
Deborah's mother.
Deborah's mother. Now, we had previously looked at the documents regarding the $7,500 that $7,500 goes in on August 27th and then goes right back out on the same day to Hertz-Schramm.
On Exhibit A, it appears that $7,500 came in, but there was already a balance, and
Yeah.
$7,500 went out on the same day.
And it's for Fraser versus Fraser Hertz-Schramm.
Correct.
Okay. And can you tell me what document number, it's probably 5, right after the JMMI check? Can you identify that, please?
After this check, okay, this is a credit, a deposit record for $7,500.
And the date on it?
August 27th, 2014.
And there's a phone number down there underneath that. Do you recognize that number?
I do.
What number is that?
That's the main ministry number.
In what city?
St. Louis.
In St. Louis. And is the account number a St. Louis account?
The account
I mean, your
number-
JMMI account?
Yes.
Okay. And this, again, is an out-of-state counter deposit?
Correct.
So would it be your understanding that somebody took this check to a bank in Michigan and had it deposited in a Missouri JMMI account?
Well, I know it says Missouri. I couldn't tell you this because there wasn't a teller sheet next to it or attached to it. So I
You couldn't tell me this one.
Okay, so this one up here where you referenced the 5,000 had Southgate,
Right,
so
it's
I knew
printed.
that it was,
Okay.
yes, I knew it was a different state.
But all three of these out-of-state counter deposit tickets are the same, correct? Same in terms of format.
Correct, yes.
So based on that, would you conclude that this was an out-of-state deposit made in Michigan for the benefit of JMMI's account in Missouri?
It definitely was deposited into JMMI's account in Missouri.
And it was out of state
It
based
does
on the
say-
ticket?
It does say out of state, yes.
Of course it was.
Okay. Did you send me anything else?
Oh, this one, you already got the hard copy, so. Okay, I sent you this morning, so you have copies of those.
Can we go off the record for a minute?
We're going off the record. It is 3:24 p.m. We are back on the record. It is 3:25 p.m.
We had talked about questions for you to ask back at the headquarters of JMMI and your bookkeeper. One of them was the difference on the October 2014 donations where Deborah Fraser testified she gave $15,000, and you have listed on her detailed statement for 2014 $11,500. Were you able to resolve that discrepancy?
I spoke to Ashley Ware and she stated that we received $11,500 in cash, not $15,000.
Thank you,
we were
Lynn
not able to
Frank.
locate where we received the
Appreciate
additional
that.
amount.
Thanks, Michelle.
Even though you're aware that Deborah Fraser testified that she gave $15,000.
I'm aware of that today, what you
Okay.
shared with me, but we do not have record of that.
Okay.
Very
the
nice of you.
December 10th, 2014 donation of $1,000. We asked for documentation or a copy of the check or whatever it was, and what's your understanding of that?
For the December 10th, 2014 contribution of $1,000, Ashley Ware stated that was cash.
And was it a direct deposit into an account, if you know, or was it a donation hand to hand?
I don't know, neither did Ashley.
But your bookkeeping indicates that it was a cash donation.
Correct.
Not check. Okay, and 2015 donations?
No, we did not have any donations.
Any record for 2015?
Correct.
Okay, the amended tax return, you don't have that, that's in the process?
Correct.
The three documents regarding 2013 that we were trying to reconcile, that were three different ones, and I think the question was if that one that was marked was actually from 2013 or not?
Ashley stated she would need to see the document, and she never hand writes anything on there that says it was 2013 or whatever.
I have a feeling Mr. Fraser wrote that when he pulled it from a stack. Is it possible for you to take a photo of it and send it to her and ask her if that's a document from JMMI for that year?
Absolutely. I don't have my phone, though, so I can't.
Oh, I'm sure Mr. Poling can assist you here.
She put that thing on. She knew what she was doing.
One of these, on these detailed statements, there's a column marked tax, and I think you're going to ask Ms. Ware what that meant.
Yes, Ashley Ware stated that tax meant yes, it was tax deductible.
And then therefore put on the statement?
Correct.
Okay. And then the other question was about the July 12th.
I think we already answered those.
I think, where am I going? So the July 12th, 2014 donation that's listed as a Crusade donation, even though it's marked for June, that's one and the same. I'm going to show you. That was the promise seed that we talked about in June from the Crusade, actually paid in July.
Correct.
Okay, and based on what we just looked at, those were 2 deposits of $5,000 each made in Michigan cities for the benefit of JMMI and their account in Missouri.
There was correct. That is
Okay.
correct. Yes.
I think you're better off trying to send her the 2.
Why don't we go off the record for a minute and
Yep.
Mr. Dietrich and I are going to talk, and I'm going to take off this. I find you.
We're going off the record. It is 3:30 p.m.
And there is one more deposition with her. Let me see. I don't know. We just might as well get it over with.
Are you getting things together for tomorrow, or what are you doing?
I was making up the. We're back on the record. It is 3:37 p.m.
Deborah Frazier has provided us with some of her credit card statements. And for example, and I'm not going to ever mark that one, but not this particular one. But one I reviewed had a $500 charge for flowers out of Taylor, Michigan. Have you known Deborah Frazier to buy flowers for a crusade or meeting or whatever?
No.
Is it typical that flowers are purchased for the stage or whatever?
Well, I mean, it depends. We purchase flowers for certain or special events, but I'm not sure why she would have purchased flowers.
Okay. But flowers are something that are used to on the stage when you have these gatherings?
Not usually, no. They're
No.
for just special, like celebratory events.
How much would you say that for that kind of an event that JMMI would spend on flowers?
Honestly, I don't know. I would have to look at the budget.
Okay.
I don't know.
This statement from Mrs. Frazier's Discover card from December 14th, 2014 to January 13th, 2015 has some items on it I'm going to ask you about. On January 1st, there's a charge for Hooters of Taylor, Michigan, and it's
Hooters. That's funny.
approaching $60, so it's obviously for more than one person. Did you go to Hooters with Mrs. Frazier?
No,
Do you know of anybody from JMMI that did?
I wouldn't know.
Were you in Taylor on that day?
I was.
And are you
Were you at Hooters for the wings?
aware that Mrs. Frazier went to Hooters?
I was not.
Okay.
Deborah went to Hooters with David.
Are you aware
I like how David went to Hooters.
she gave her credit card to somebody to go to Hooters?
No, I don't know.
Okay. On January 3rd in Dearborn, Michigan, which is next door to Taylor, there's a charge at TGI Fridays for almost $170. Would you agree that's not one person's meal?
I
There's
would
more.
agree.
Okay. Do you know of Mrs. Frazier ever taking other people out to dinner and paying for it?
I wouldn't know.
Has she ever taken you out to dinner?
She's never taken me, no.
Do you know of anybody she's taken out to dinner from JMMI?
Honestly, I don't know if she did, or I know she's gone out to dinner with people, but I don't know who's paid. So I
Okay.
couldn't say.
There's another charge from January 11th, Mangiano's, it's for over $170. Do you know of anybody from JMMI or yourself that went out to dinner with her?
I don't know.
Do you know if Pastor Taylor ever goes out to dinner with her?
No, they don't.
They don't?
No.
How often would you say she sees him?
For conferences and crusades
Too
and
much.
special events that he's had in the past, I would.
And that's when there's a large number of people?
Correct.
To your knowledge, have they spent much time one-on-one or small group?
No,
No? To your knowledge, does he specifically counsel her personally?
I couldn't say.
You don't know?
I wouldn't know.
Is that something Mr. Taylor does?
He's a pastor, so yes.
Okay, you just aren't aware of when that would have happened with Mrs. Frazier?
I wouldn't know.
Okay. On December 30th, excuse me, there are 2 charges from Jim's Tuxedos and Menswear in Southgate, which is also near Taylor. One for
No, I think
$73, one for about $135.
I think Josh
Do
is
you have
done
any
covering
knowledge
these
of
guys
what those
after
purchases
this deposition.
would be about? Obviously, Mrs. Frazier wouldn't be getting tuxedos. Do you have any knowledge of her purchasing or renting or
It's
anything?
probably
like
my
from
last
JMMI?
one.
I do actually.
Okay, what's that about?
I don't know about the 2. I know about the 1. I had asked her, she was out and about, and I asked her if she'd pick up my son's tuxedo, but I also gave her cash for it. I
Pick up
reimbursed
her son's tuxedo?
my son's tuxedo.
I'm sorry, pick up your 12-year-old?
My 12-year-old.
Wore a tuxedo?
He did.
For,
He's adorable too.
sure, for their, is that the birthday celebration?
No, it's One Night with the King. It's
One
a
Night with the King. Isn't that?
New Year's Eve celebration.
Okay. So how much did the tuxedo that you asked her to pick up cost, and did you reimburse
I
her?
think I did reimburse her, and I think it was around 70 or 75. I think I gave her 80 for it.
Okay, and you're unaware of an additional charge approaching 135 for a tuxedo?
I'm not sure.
You don't know who that would have been?
No,
Does
We're
Mr. Taylor wear a
unaware.
tuxedo on that day?
he does.
Is he rented?
No,
He owns it?
he does.
We had to let it out.
There are
on the
multiple
side
charges
a
over
little.
January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Taylor for Red Roof Inn. And you know that to be a local motel.
Yes.
And look at this deposition exhibit number 17. They're highlighted there. Would you agree that they're for multiple rooms over the course of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd from the printout?
It looks that way. Yes.
Okay. Are you aware of Mrs. Frazier paying for rooms for anybody but herself?
I wouldn't know.
You don't know?
No.
Who would you say Mrs. Frazier primarily hangs out with, for lack of a better word, with JMMI, people from JMMI? Who are her primary buddies, so to speak?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, she talks to everybody. I wouldn't know who her primary buddies are.
Everybody meaning on staff or volunteers?
I mean, just everybody, people who come and attend the services, everybody. She's friendly with everybody.
Okay. Have you ever heard her offer to give money or pay for somebody's hotel or meals or things like that? Have you ever seen or heard her offer to do those things?
When I asked her to pick up my son's tuxedo, I asked her if she was out. Since she was out and I was running errands, would you mind stopping by and picking that up? So I'm aware of that.
No, aside from that.
Oh,
Have you ever heard her say, "Oh, it's my treat, let's go out to dinner," or similar?
No, I don't. I didn't get involved in a lot of the day-to-day things, so I don't know.
Okay. Who would you say is the staff member that has had the most contact with Deborah?
I couldn't say. She talks to everybody. She's very friendly.
I know that. Would you consider her to be very generous with her funds with people around her?
I would say that she's been very generous with JMMI.
I'd agree, to her detriment. But aside from the large donations, do you have any knowledge or opinion about how generous she is with the people that she speaks with and associates with?
I couldn't say.
Okay. No other questions? Words everybody likes to hear.
Of course.
All right, wait, can I ask, oh, wait a minute. I told Michelle this, but I think you snuck out, so if we can go back on just for a second. Oh, good. I told Ms. Brandon that I didn't have any additional questions based on the documents that we had, but obviously I just got about a 6 or 8 inch document drop that I have not had the time to go through. I'm not likely to be able to do anything meaningful with them before 9 o'clock tomorrow. And if there is something in there that I need to ask her questions about, that there may be a need for an additional session of this, but I won't know until I can go through that stuff. So I'm not asking her to come back specifically to a time today. I'm not asking her today to come back at a time in the future, but we may need to continue the deposition. I'd like to leave that open based on what I've just been given.
I'm not giving up. It's just
something we got from Mr. Patrick talking about.
Right.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. I hope I don't have to, but I'm just telling you.
I don't know. It's like I'm doing this because I wanted to finish what we started, and that I wanted to test out my equipment. But yeah, I really don't, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what my future holds here. It's just, yeah.
Obviously, I haven't looked at any of those things.
Done.
Ms. Brandon, my name is Moe Gadimi. I represent Deborah Frazier. Just a few questions for you to clarify your testimony. Now, part of my ignorance here, but can you tell me what tithing is?
Tithing is in Malachi 3:10. The word says that a person's supposed to pay their tithes and offering. A tithe is 10% of your income, or what.
And I've enjoyed hanging out with all you guys too. It's it's very nice. But these things, like, I don't know, they're big time eaters, and
Receiving in your hands.
Now, is that mandatory or discretionary?
Well, I mean, it depends on those that want to apply the Bible and those that don't.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning, if you want to serve, if you serve God and you believe the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation, then it's without, it's a sure word of prophecy. So, in other words, it means that yes, you need to pay your tithes.
Okay. What about benevolence? What is that?
Again, I'm not readily familiar with benevolence, but other than giftings, yes, I mean, it's something that could be used as offerings or a gift.
Would you consider both tithing and benevolence a part of religious expression?
Absolutely.
Can we just clarify? You indicated, however, that you were not aware of any benevolence fund at JMMI specifically.
Correct.
Okay. Just want to.
Sure.
Sorry.
I don't believe that was Deborah's testimony, but that's another issue. Now, you testified earlier based on counsel's representations that it seems Ms. Frazier may have violated some court orders. Do you recall saying that?
I recall agreeing when I was asked that. Did she violate that?
Have you seen any of these court orders?
I have not.
And so you wouldn't be able to say, based on your own personal knowledge, that Ms. Frazier violated any court orders, correct?
Correct.
Now, you testified earlier about a conversation you had with Ms. Frazier relative to your frustration about how JMMI was kind of wrapped up in this whole mess. You recall your testimony?
Correct.
And
I know
if I understood your testimony correctly, you said Ms. Frazier never said that she was going to pay JMMI's
That's the
attorney fees,
problem.
correct?
That's correct.
But it seems that
I think that's a mischaracterization of the testimony. I think that Ms. Brandon testified that based on the transcript from Mr. Taylor in his comments, that he was told by Ms. Brandon that Mrs. Frazier was going to contribute to the attorney fees, that if she said that, and Mr. Taylor believes that she said it, then it was true then, although she may not recall it now.
But I believe what she testified to was Ms. Frazier said one thing, and what I'm going to get at is the communication between her and Mr. Taylor. But if you could clarify then, since there seems to be some disagreement, what was the nature of your conversation with Ms. Frazier relative to attorney fees for JMMI?
It was frustration that JMMI had to come up with attorney fees and had to, not just the attorney fees, but the court in providing all these documentation. And it's a lot of work. It took a lot of work from me.
So for clarification purposes, because there seems to be some confusion, did Ms. Frazier make any statements to you that she would pay JMMI's attorney fees?
It's possible. Mr. Taylor stated that I said that, and he wouldn't lie. So it's very possible.
Do you think it's possible that you may have made a miscommunication to Mr. Taylor relative to this issue?
It's possible.
I'm going to object just for the speculation.
It's possible.
Do you believe it's possible that Mr. Taylor may have misunderstood what you were saying?
It's possible.
Like
Ms. Brown, I'd just like to go over some of these exhibits with you. I'm not going to go through
9
everything.
months or something
I'm
like
handing
that.
to you as marked as Exhibit 1. No problem.
Yes.
Now, did you personally prepare what is that chart present on the first page?
I did not. Exhibit 1. I did
Exhibit
not.
1. Do you know who did?
Ashley Ware.
Okay. Do you have any personal knowledge as to the accuracy of what's contained on page 1?
I don't.
Okay. Could you flip to page 2? Same question. Did you personally prepare that document for JMMI?
This is a bank account statement, and no, I didn't personally prepare this.
Did you personally pull that off? I believe you probably got off a website or something. Would that be correct?
Ashley did. I did not.
Okay. So again, you have no personal knowledge as to whether that's an accurate account of what was taken off the, I assume it's Bank of America.
Correct.
Okay. You can flip to the third page, please. Again, same questions. Did you personally prepare that statement?
I did not.
Do you know who did?
I don't.
And so you wouldn't be able to testify as to its accuracy, correct?
I would not.
Okay. Next page, please. And did you personally prepare that document?
I did not.
Do you know who did?
Ashley Ware.
And you would have no personal knowledge as to the accuracy of those statements, correct?
Correct.
I'm just going to hand you some documents just to keep everything. Okay, that works too. Ms. Brandon, I'm handing you what's been marked as Exhibit 8. Did you personally prepare that document?
Exhibit 8. No, I didn't.
And do you know who did?
I didn't. Ashley Ware.
Okay, and you have no personal knowledge as to the accuracy of what's contained in Exhibit 8, correct?
Correct.
Now, was this document something that was prepared just pursuant to a subpoena issued to you?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so you wouldn't know if this is a document that JMMI just kind of keeps on a regular basis.
That's correct.
Okay.
What number is it?
Number 8. I think this one aside. Okay. Ms. Brandon, I'm handing you what has been marked as exhibit number 9-1. Did you personally prepare that exhibit?
Exhibit 9-1, I did not.
Okay, do you know who did?
Ashley Ware,
Do you have any personal knowledge as to the accuracy of what's contained in exhibit 9-1?
I do not.
And again, same question. Do you know if this is something that JMMI just kind of prepares as a regular course of its business, or was it prepared pursuant to a subpoena issued to JMMI?
I do not know.
I'm now handing you what has been marked as exhibit 9-2. Did you personally prepare that exhibit?
Exhibit 9-2, I did not.
Okay, and do you know who did?
I do not.
And so you cannot personally test, you don't have any personal knowledge as to the accuracy of any statements contained in exhibit 9-2, correct?
Correct.
And again, do you know if that was created pursuant to the regular course of business, or was it pursuant simply to a subpoena?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm handing you what's been marked as exhibit 10. And let me make sure I'm understanding that correctly. Is that a list of contributions made by Deborah Frazier to JMMI during that time period?
That is correct.
Okay. Did you personally prepare that document?
I did not.
Is something like that, a detailed statement, something that JMMI regularly gives to its donors?
In January of every year, yes.
They do. Okay. But you have no personal knowledge as to the accuracy of any statements contained in that exhibit, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm handing you what has been marked as exhibit 12. Did you personally prepare that document?
I did not.
Okay. Do you know who did?
I don't know.
And you would be able to testify based on your own personal knowledge as to the accuracy of any statements contained therein, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, that's 13. I think
This is 12. I got 10, 11 here. I'm now handing you what's been. I'm more efficient what you can think of doing. I'm handing you what's been marked
I tried
as.
to think of that.
Yeah. Exhibit. I'm handing you what's been marked as exhibit 13. Did you personally prepare that exhibit?
I did not.
Do you know who did?
I do not.
Okay. You can't testify as to the accuracy of these statements contained therein.
Correct.
Okay. No, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a farewell tour.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Okay, just to clean up a little bit. Deposition exhibit number 10, the detailed statement for 2014 for Deborah Frazier. Would you agree that this is a document kept in the regular course of business through JMMI?
Correct.
Okay. And I'm going to show you exhibit number 8, 9-1 and 9-2. And we subpoenaed certain documents from JMMI. And do you agree that these were produced by JMMI pursuant to the subpoena?
That is correct.
Okay. And did you ask anyone to create a document?
I did.
And who did you ask?
Ashley Ware.
And what document did you ask her to create?
Several of the documents.
And what were they?
Documents of the account. We didn't have the donors list of the top donors. You asked for, I think it was like 5,000 or above.
Did you ask her to create 8-9 and 9-1-9-2?
I would have to ask Ashley if this was what she referenced in one of the things I've asked her, if this was what she, because there's no title on it. So
okay, for example, number 9-2, there is a caption that says Joshua Media Ministry, does it not?
There is.
And an account number?
Correct.
And that you recognize that as a bank?
Correct.
And July 1st through July 31st, 2014?
Correct.
And would you say that this, or that in its captions, deposits and other credits continued?
Correct.
Would you say that this is a document that's kept in the regular course of business that itemizes the activities of deposits and credits on that bank account number?
From the bank, it's not through JMMI.
Okay, but you keep this document, do you not?
We ordered this document for this subpoena.
Okay, and this is the kind of, this is a bank statement or document from a bank account of JMMI's?
Correct.
Okay. And do you have any reason to believe that anything on this is inaccurate?
I don't know.
You don't have any?
I mean, I don't know if there were inaccurate, things done to my knowledge, no.
Right, so you don't have any reason to believe nobody said this is not right?
Correct.
Okay, and Ashley didn't tell you this was not right?
She did not.
Okay, and 9-1 and 8. These are documents that reference offerings, as you refer to it, on for July and August of 2014?
Correct.
Okay, and in the regular course of business, does JMMI keep track of offerings from on a daily basis of what comes in?
We do.
Okay, and is that what this document reflects?
I don't know if she created this document for this subpoena.
Right,
So,
but she does keep track, does she not?
She does.
And this,
but I don't know if it's in this format.
okay,
Yes.
but these were all documents that you turned over in the course of discovery.
Correct.
And you supervise Ashley Ware?
Correct.
And you direct what she does in terms of what her job responsibilities are?
I oversee her job responsibilities.
Okay. And so you're aware that under your supervision, she creates these documents or keeps track of these documents?
On occasion, yes.
Okay. I don't have any
The only thing is, do you still want her here tomorrow?
I have to. Wish I could say no, but you're probably my star witness. Sorry.
This concludes the deposition. It is 4:03 p.m. We are off the record.
All right, we did it. Congratulations, guys. We made it through both of those. She was awful. Yeah. Probably, yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do any more of these. I mean, there was a couple, like, there was some fun. There was a few fun moments, but it was overall sucked. But thanks for hanging out. I appreciate that. And letting me test the equipment out. It's appreciative or appreciate. All right.